Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Weekly Game Chat. I am your host, Chris, as always, joined by my co-host, Sean.
Hey, it's me. That's me, Chris.
That's you.
Yeah, it's me. How's everybody doing?
And John.
Hello, hey, man, hey.
What's going on in the world and stuff?
Well, I think it's the most important thing on our agenda today is to understand and realize and appreciate that today is Casey Oaks.
Oh, yeah.
Is it tomorrow or today?
Today, I think.
It's today.
So, but when they hear this, they're going to think it's Wednesday.
Okay,
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
Why
It was
do you guys
yesterday.
always forget that?
Because I think
You
the
guys are
audience is
dumb.
intelligent and understands it.
We got new people. They don't know that we record on Tuesdays and release on Wednesdays. They just know we release on
Are
Wednesdays.
you calling the millions of our listeners?
And millions.
My brain just fried. I don't know. I can't even
You mean the
finish
amazing listeners we have?
Yeah, that
Yeah,
too.
who know more than we do all the time.
That's pretty much.
You imagine being a listener to us and sometimes we don't know.
You're so dumb,
No,
Sean.
that thing we're trying to say that we're like, oh man, Google it. We don't know the answer. And they're just like, are you serious? It's blah, 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 blah.
Well, I sympathize when it happens when you guys do it. It never happens to me. I know this. I have an outside study that tracks my accuracy, and I'm right at 98.2.
And
Wrong? Yeah, you're right.
You're okay,
98%
with
wrong.
98 too?
Hey, that's almost perfect.
Almost doesn't count, John.
Well, you guys track at 72.
Ooh.
I guess if you're...
Blow.
You know, to be fair, I guess if you go on the level of news that you wrote last week, it's pretty easy to achieve 98.2%.
I mean, when you write 3 stories.
And one of them is, hey, by the way, here's 2 release dates for random games.
Hey, we did good on that. Did we not, John?
What was the reason for that? I forget.
I don't know.
The most anticipated?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The news team.
The rationale behind that
is
because our top 5 games of the year took
a
a
gajillion
tremendous
hours.
amount of time.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
the rationale
did.
behind it was everyone's top 3 would take some significant time to speak since we were all covering a topic.
In
And
theory.
we know how often that the 3 of us cover a topic. Speaking of which, are you buying Resident Evil 2? 90% on Metacritic today.
I probably will.
I don't care about Metacritic scores, though. So I know that that's...
Do you think I do, per se?
No. And I was going to say that next line just now back to you that I don't think you do either, John.
So you guys, do you know that my boss is a diehard New Orleans Saints fan?
Oh, she had a bad weekend.
She was at the game.
Oh.
She was at the game.
I can't believe you just brought up football and you did it well.
I don't know. I finally watched the
play?
The play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And learned a lot about
John,
what
football
happened and
is-
why everybody's upset.
Yeah.
So, but I hadn't actually watched the play. But what is it? Sunday night around what? I don't know, 5, 6 or
It
later.
was probably about 6:30.
My
when everything
Facebook
blew up.
feed just blows up. People
Yeah.
are just
Douche, 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 douche.
crazy.
Well, like in the world of like professional soccer, big, huge soccer events, we're talking like World Cup thing. There were some really, really badly missed calls to where they,
Yeah.
I'm saying soccer because this is an example of a sport that had to go to a change to kind of fix some things. And now they've introduced VAR over there and it seems to be pretty accurate and work. And now the question has really been brought up in the NFL. It's like, why can't we have a special circumstance to where in the last few minutes of a game this happens? Or why can't the coach get a special challenge flag for a game deciding play like that? With that said, I don't know anything else, but Rams fans are countering back saying,
Yeah.
well, this happened, this happened, this happened. And then I think they still went to overtime.
Exactly.
And then now that raises the other question because of what happened in the Chiefs-Patriots game. It's like overtime.
That's the bigger one to solve.
Both teams play each other for 4 quarters. But then,
Wait,
but then in overtime, based on a coin toss, one side of one team plays the other side of one team potentially for the entire game.
Yeah.
And that would be the offense versus the defense in that game. In that,
I mean, like,
in that Tom Brady just went down and scored, and Kansas City's guys never had a chance to score.
yeah. Because I think if you say, like, well, what's the prospects that if Patrick Mahomes gets the ball,
He had
the
not
way
been stopped. He had picked it up.
Yeah.
And but the counter argument that I've heard to that is, well, all they have to do is not let them get a touchdown.
Yeah, see, I like
Make them punt it or get a field goal, and you still get your chance to to go for it. But
I like the college setup more for overtime. Like, I don't like the way they do it week to week, where it just seems like they need to figure out a way to make that more, I guess, end quickly. right? Like because of what happened with LSU and Texas A&M. It's like, why is this game going to 12 overtimes? You don't need to be doing this to these kids. You're going to hurt someone. But like, as far as OT itself, it's either no, play a whole entire another quarter and let that be in, kind of like how the NHL and also basketball do it, or else just go to what college football does and make it like kind of a showdown, sudden death thing.
Golick, Golick and Wingo, formerly of Mike and Mike. Mike Golick still has a show with Trey Wingo on ESPN, and he's a former player, and he's like, dude, just line up for another 15 minutes, make it a quarter.
Yeah.
And trust me, he said, we're professionals. We might be tired, but when we know something like the AFC or NFC championships on the line,
they'll do it.
We're going to do what it takes to get a chance to go to the Super Bowl. And
do it for a quarter and then like do something like field goal kicks.
Yeah.
And just progressively go further back until someone misses. And like
almost
say,
like a sudden death in soccer or the penalty kicks in soccer. I mean,
they could find a better way to do it. But as far as like the outrage and all that, I don't get outraged by one blown call.
That was
like,
it wasn't a call.
Or a non-call.
It was blatant though, man. That was
a
tough
sure.
one.
But here's the thing:
can you at least accept the fact that you can get outraged if it's a regular season thing? Sure, but when you got the Super Bowl on the line,
no, because
put it in Alabama's shoes. How would you be feeling today?
Oh, I'd be upset that they didn't get the break, but at the same time, I'd be like, you gave them the opportunity to let that affect your win, because if you do what you're supposed to do the previous 59 minutes or whatever.
Yeah, I see that point. I do.
You don't need to worry about one bad call.
But I'm telling you, if we're sitting here as Alabama fans, we haven't slept good for 2 days. We're ill on this show. That's all we talk about. Like it's
the best way I've heard it described is like people, there's a bias that people have. It's called like a recency bias. And basically it's what most likely people will prioritize what has most recently happened, right, as being the direct cause as to why something to an outcome, like versus not looking at the whole entire picture of what actually did happen. So for instance, like as Sean brought up, previous drive, there was a missed call on the Rams that was probably a lot more vital of a missed call because it would have given the Rams the ball on the 1 yard line,
and they
first and goal, and they would have gone ahead on New Orleans. And no one's crying about that. We're only crying about the one that was missed after it.
Yeah, that was a 4-point swing.
Yeah,
at that point.
Yeah, so it's.
I have a little trouble with the logic behind. Well, you should have been kicking their tails for 4 quarters.
You were up there.
That's like saying, oh, you didn't lock your door every day. Well, now it matters that you got robbed. Well, I mean, I don't understand the logic there.
It's kind of like this.
Any given Sunday.
Oh, that's a movie.
Any given Sunday, you perform a certain way, and you're doing your best, and the Rams are doing their best for what is on the line.
Yes.
What is on the line.
But that's the thing. The game is 4 quarters is the way I kind of view it. And
when it's tied,
and then
when it's tied, you're still expected for the referees to do their freaking job.
Sure. And
so I don't know what the issue is logically.
To be fair, they made a mistake. I mean, like, and they admit
what
to
the
it.
Rams guy should have done was turned around and intercepted the ball. I don't know why he had to smack him.
The thing is, and that's
he was trying to make a play.
That's where a lot of if you listen to sports shows like I do, the big argument is, like you just pointed out, a referee kind of made a non-call. He did not make it. He didn't get help from his people on the field.
Yeah.
And one of the things is, well, maybe you institute something like college football where they review every scoring play.
Sure.
Maybe there's
well, they do that already in the NFL,
right?
On scoring,
too.
And,
so why can that same team kind of not go?
I'll tell you why.
Hey guys, I'm just, and I know what you're going to say. I'll let you say it too. But it's like, hey guys, that was a pass interference. Now, understandably so, if you start video reviewing every kind of penalty or in
it's
that case,
get bad.
that pass, you're going to start opening the Pandora's box of all the other things.
Everyone forgets how the NFL used to be when they first had instant replay, where basically coaches were challenging almost multiple plays per drive.
Hey.
And basically when they brought it back, they made it very limited for that reason. I want the game to be called right, but I also understand, like, hey, refs are human just like anyone else. They're not going to be perfect all the time. So you have to ask yourself, like, well, where's the line of what you're going to allow to be reviewed versus not? Would you have allowed the fact that, like, there were multiple calls Sunday? Like, for instance,
there's human error. I agree with you, but
there's the 2 missed
There was a
face mask.
Yeah.
There was the call for roughing the passer on Tom Brady that was not roughing the passer at all, and no one's up on.
It was a tackle.
But at the same time, for the most part, they do their job and they try to do it to their best of the ability. It's kind of like an umpire with a strike. It's like, look, yeah, sometimes you're going to be a little wide, or you're. And the ref,
Yeah, you are.
And the ref even admitted, he said the reason he didn't call the flag was that he thought the ball got tipped, and per rules, like once a ball is tipped, it's fair game. It's fair game. So he made a bad call.
Did you know that? So once a ball's thrown, if the guy even right on the defensive line touches it, or even to the point of about to be the receiver, if that ball gets another hand on it, you can tackle the guy trying to catch the ball.
There's a difference between a missed call and what some people, I'm not making the case per se, or what some people are calling egregious, saying that within that play, it wasn't just that one that should have been called. There were 3 or 4 violations where the flag could have logically been thrown for something. The fact that none of the refs on that field called anything is almost mathematically inconceivable. And that's the argument. And the argument is also people are buying into that argument so much that they are refunding people's bet money because that game they thought was a wash. Money's being since when does Vegas return your money? Money is being returned to people who put money on the Saints because most people out there seem to be thinking, look, I got no stake in the game. You probably don't either. I don't know if you're pulling for a particular team. I don't care.
Let's go.
It just looks
after this one. I can't root for Tom Brady.
You asked the question.
It just looks egregious.
When do most institutions, corporations, or any entity, when do they cave into people? When there's this huge outcry or outrage, sometimes true, sometimes fake. And in this case, a lot of people went, "Come on, how am I going to lose my money? Did you see that?"
But that would only.
That doesn't mean the call was right or wrong.
But
on the
that
field.
would only be parallel if the NFL caved, and the NFL hasn't caved.
Right.
This is an outside company.
But there'll be a review.
But it's still,
at the end
it's
of the
still
year.
an entity. It's still a corporation. I don't care if it's NFL or not. I'm saying when people give that fake outrage, you want to cave in and do the
I can't
right
speak
thing.
I can't speak to whether anybody expressed outrage towards the companies who took their
Yeah,
bet
but
money.
you can sit there and say they refunded them, have all that information.
You got a story to tell us?
I don't have a story, John.
The ones who are upset are Saints fans. I understand why they're upset. I don't blame them for
That's
being
not
upset.
true. That's not true.
But or they're just like upset because they wanted the Saints or whatever. I just in the end, hold on. In the end, here, what I'm trying to get to a point here.
I would be careful of attributing motive to somebody's grievance towards a call.
Yes,
that's a logical fallacy. I wouldn't do that.
I'm trying to say though, in the end, if you don't blow a 13-point lead, you don't have to worry about one bad call. And that's been my point in all this. Like Georgia fans, they all complained multiple calls throughout the Alabama game in the SEC championship. And I look back and I go, if you didn't blow, you had a 14-point lead on Alabama and you had opportunities to close that game multiple times. So don't cry to me that they missed a face mask or something like that on when Jake Fromm got hit, right? A slight face mask. I'm not going to cry about those things for you because I just kind of view it as you have so many opportunities per drive to make something happen. It's hard to argue that.
So when is it appropriate to call the call egregious? Because it seems like you're imagining a world where if you're 20 points ahead, that call doesn't matter. But if you're not 20 points ahead, well, you should have been, therefore the call shouldn't matter.
I mean, the way you do it is
because it seems like both sides you're saying that you can't complain in either situation.
The way you do it is you assess it afterwards and you try to make sure in the next time it happens that the right call is made. That's what you try. You try to learn from your mistakes.
I get regular season stuff, but when you got these types of championships on the line, this is where I think the NFL should look into safeguards into this type of thing. Because
there's no dude. Like he's right on a first week game against whoever this call happens, it's a non-issue. So as the season and as the time in specific games like an AFC Championship, NFC Championship, Super Bowl, plays become weighted. They become more important. Calls become weighted and more important, and missed calls become weighted and more important.
Sure,
that was a big non-call. And as a football fan, you go, wow. If you got to think, if you're a Saints fan or if you're pulling for the Saints, you go, ooh, they kind of got screwed on that one.
Yeah, they did.
If you're a Rams fan, hey guys, you're in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You're listening to Weekly NFL Chat with Chris, Sean, and John.
Brought to you by John's question of a pass interference call.
Anyways,
didn't expect that.
Hey, but he just turned around and intercepted the ball.
Yeah.
Nobody would have gotten hurt.
Or if D Ford would have just lined up on side in Kansas City.
See, that's the one. Like, if you're telling me there was a more vital play or like mistake that week, that's the bigger one because that literally was the end of the game.
There's no overtime.
Yeah.
There's no Tom Brady.
There's no nothing.
There's nothing. That's ball game.
I mean, the most the Saints were getting was a first down. There was no guarantee.
The Chris Lockards of the world will go, well, you still had 3 more downs to stop them from scoring a touchdown.
No. I mean, to Kansas City's, if you want to just cry about that one mistake, I would say you had a whole first half where you got shut out. You're the number 1 offense, and you couldn't put the ball in the end zone for 2 quarters.
Hey, Chris.
That's not supposed to happen.
I always put my ball in the end zone.
Anyways, though, other things this weekend. Did anyone go see Glass?
No.
I did.
Well, we know. You put it on Facebook that you didn't like it.
Yeah.
I wonder. He asked me to go with him.
I don't think.
I
think he asked
I just
all
told
of us.
you. I didn't ask you.
I think you asked. No, I think you
okay.
brought it
I'm
up.
sorry. That's a
hey.
Sorry,
it's just
you didn't ask me to go,
dude. It's just a
a
figure of speech, Chris. JFC. GFC.
I asked. I did ask you. I asked you and Jeff because I knew you were interested. Yeah.
I will never go see an M. Night Shyamalan movie with you ever again.
Yeah, well, that's on you.
No, it's on you.
Backstory, quick.
Cool. Well, all right. This is in general. This is in general for any movie that's not critically acclaimed that I'm fundamentally interested in seeing. I just don't want to go with somebody or a group of people that, and not. This isn't singling him out. I don't want to go to a movie where I know we're going to walk out of the theater and I'm going to listen to everything that was wrong with the movie. It's almost like I don't want to be rude, but I just want to march directly to my car. I love you guys. Bye. Love you guys. Bye.
He's a baby. But yeah, I'm not as upset as your pal BK. He was definitely very disappointed by it. But me and Tony and Aaron went together. Aaron was all right with it. He was like, it was okay. And then me and Tony were both kind of like, yeah, that could have been better. It's like a disappointing ending to a trilogy type thing. I will say, if you really want to see it, it's probably worth checking out, but I would just, unless you have something like A-List, I would just tell you, wait. It's not as bad as like The Happening. It's not as bad as that. It's not as bad as, I don't know if you ever watched After Earth or, of course, the Last Airbender and those things. I don't think it's in that level, but it's definitely in the, why'd you do that type range of his stuff, which is, that's just the way it goes sometimes. There are some nice shots in it, though. And James McAvoy's really good in it. He's the best part of it.
Apparently it made bank, so...
Yeah, I mean...
He did really well.
To anyone who is upset with him, I'd be like, look, I think he's doing the right thing the way he's doing now, because like I don't think he's made for big budget stuff because it's such a huge risk for him. But like this kind of stuff where it's like, hey, $35 million, and you know what? If I get a $50 million opening or whatever, boom, I've done my job as a
I think it was
as
like
a director.
47 million.
Yeah, so it cost 35 to make. So he's already paid for this movie. He can go make whatever he wants now.
I guess.
So props to him on that.
The last 3 films he's done the last 2 films. There was one, I think a lot of people might have missed it, The Visit.
Yeah.
That was really a cool, it was like a it wasn't found footage because but it was these kids go to see their grandparents for a week or 2. And some weird stuff goes down. Sean, you would like this. In fact, I should come over and watch it with you. I'll hold you.
These 3 bears show up, and they got these different beds, and
they're like, "Yo, where's Goldilocks at, though?"
The other thing I watched this weekend though was, and it felt like last week was apparently unofficial Fyre Fest documentary weekend. So I watched both of those on Netflix. And Hulu, they each had a documentary.
Is it even interesting?
Oh, it's very interesting, especially for someone like me. I would say, of course, I got a bias here, right? Because I've gone to a lot of festivals.
Because you like Ja Rule?
I do like Ja Rule.
Do you?
His early stuff, at least, yeah.
Okay.
You know, J-Lo.
Send us letters.
Good stuff. But anyway, no, but it's interesting from the standpoint of like, obviously I've been to, unlike you guys, I have been to a lot of music festivals, including camping festivals, right? So to see people act like, one, that they're doing this for any other motivation than their personal profit, and two, to see like that they think they could put it together in like 8 weeks, when I know that something like Bonnaroo literally takes like 365 days up until to make it work.
And sometimes
right?
Probably even during the event.
Exactly.
Changes, yeah.
Like it's kind of laughable, but it was really interesting because just because you know where we both work and the kind of work we did, and there's definitely that involved in this film. I won't go any further, but it's a very interesting. I think it's interesting to see a fraudster and be able to see like how he is able to gain confidence in other people. Maybe not every single person out there, but to work the crowds and know this is what I have to do to get the money I need, and I don't care what it costs or what it means because I'll just make it work.
Just watch and learn.
But
love it when you love me, baby.
If you have both services,
always on time. What?
if you have both services and you're like, I don't want to watch one or both of these, I just want one of them.
Which one's better?
I would suggest the Netflix. I think the Netflix one does a better job of capturing everything that went into it versus like. The Hulu one is more of like about this is what society is, and this is the Instagram culture and all that kind of thing that goes in and leans into that a lot. So
cool, man. I watched Harry Potter Blu-rays, all of them.
Blu-rays.
Yeah,
all of them.
God, sound like a little kid.
Boring.
I love everything about Harry
Really,
Potter.
you love Order of the Phoenix? You really love that movie?
I do.
Oh, okay.
On Blu-ray, it's glorious.
You really love Chamber Sequence?
You got it. You need all of them to appreciate all of them.
I will say, Order of the Phoenix is fundamentally less boring than Empire Strikes Back.
See, he's doing that to be a troll.
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
He's a troll.
No.
Is this not a troll?
No, that movie from beginning to end is so boring.
The Empire Strikes Back is the greatest movie of the trilogy.
Take away Luke, I am your father. What do you have?
I don't even care about Luke, I am your father. By the time
Darth
I get
Vader
to
besting everyone, Boba Fett, the Hoth raid, Yoda.
A snake coming out of an asteroid.
Yeah, that's great too.
Dude, it's just a slow, grindy movie.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It is. And
I mean, it is slow, and I like that.
I think it's the secret that no Star Wars fan has the courage to admit. Maybe
you're just in a minority opinion.
I used to not like that movie at all, and as I've gotten older and watched it, I go, that movie's amazing. That movie's my number one Star Wars movie.
You can respect it in the way you respect Citizen Kane, but you wouldn't sit down and watch it.
Well, then John, also take the.
I don't even know what that means. I don't even know why you go John.
If you don't know what it means, the first thing you should do is get upset.
I'm not watching Citizen Kane, and you can't tell me how I'm supposed to emote.
You didn't even let me emote. What is it, Fortnite?
I kind of appreciate that movie just because you think of the risk it took, and like just imagine like back in 1980 when that first premiered, how that had to be, because you didn't know what was going to happen. It's not like today where we have you have a Spider-Man trailer that came out this week that is after the events of the next Avengers movie, which kind of makes it you like,
don't know that
they've already confirmed it.
Who said that?
Kevin Feige already.
Is he the director, or what is he?
He's the guy who's over Infinity War. Him and his brother.
No, I know. I want him to say these things out loud so we can realize how much of a nerd he is. Let me do my thing.
I am. But the difference is back then, when you went to go watch Empire, you just didn't know what was going to happen. To go in there and like after you had this great moment of success in the first movie, right? Dude, Han Solo just got put in carbonite, and Luke just got his freaking hand cut off.
Yeah, big things, John. Let's not go down that path, John.
It's bad. But anyways,
yeah.
We're
looking
John,
forward to
did you have anything?
Yeah. Well, he had plenty. He started a whole 20-minute conversation about a call
on the freaking football.
Yeah. But going back to that, who do we got in the Super Bowl? Who are you going for? I said Patriots for real. Screw the Rams.
I'm going for the Rams. One, because they lost the first time they played them. Right? Everyone
They've
forgets
also
about
won one.
Yeah, but not as the LA Rams.
So they won with Kurt Warner.
Plus,
in the greatest show on turf.
Plus, I can't hate on the Rams because 3/4 of their team carried me to a fantasy football championship.
Ugh. Literal vomit in my mouth right now.
I'm pulling for the refs.
John, pick a team.
Pick a team.
Why don't you relax?
I'm very relaxed. You want to go right now, bro? Go to break. Go to break, Chris. That'll sound hardcore.
Everyone's like, what?
What just happened?
Just come back and Sean's gone. And like, the topic is
Sean's
how
dead.
this is a 2-person podcast now.
Oh, I don't have a motorcycle anymore.
Why?
Oh, did you sell it?
I sold it because I'm getting a bigger one.
Yeah, you are.
Called it.
Is it one that I can
Well,
finally?
I called it too. Everybody called it,
Can I
Chris.
sit
Yeah, everyone
behind you
called it.
and
We were
put
like-
my?
Because you have to start where I started to get to the next step.
Well, I know how you are.
Oh my God! Now this is about to get real.
We just know.
He should go to break.
Remember, I
Do you think
remember
the audience can tell that we hate each other?
No.
listeners
They can't.
listeners at home, for the record, whenever Sean gets into something, he takes baby steps. But once he gets committed, he goes all out.
I'm going to lean back.
I'm just gonna go back and breathe.
And to his credit, when he goes all in, he does go all in hard, aka the DJ business. So I'll give him props for
I'll
that.
give him crop dust.
But at the same time, I have to also give him crap.
Well, I didn't know when I started riding the motorcycle, one, if I knew how to do it, what it is. I didn't need to.
I picture going, whoa,
Dude, what you just did was like a baby giraffe walking for the first time. If someone had recorded the first time I got on my motorcycle in my neighborhood
viral.
to ride it,
Yeah.
it was wibbly wobbly, whoa. Yeah, and then from then on, you just either you like it, I think, or you don't. I love it.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. What do you have your sights on something?
I do. Yeah, I do.
Okay, cool.
Let's say the Honda, the one I had was only a 250cc, which is a very entry level small bike.
I play Mario Kart.
Okay, so now I'm going to be up at least probably into the 800 to 1000 cc's.
Oh, Big Daddy.
Well, maybe
Can I ride behind you?
you will be able to now.
Yeah, I can wrap my arms around your strong.
Are you getting a
body.
Harley?
Well, I don't want to spend DJ money on Harley money
Gotcha.
because Harley money's big boy money.
That's true.
And I don't know, but I've just heard they're not like they used to be. So let's just get something. Let's just see what happens.
Why do you hate America?
I don't.
Ooh,
I love America.
That's settled.
America. And then he bought a Suzuki.
What's funny is
In your Morgan Freeman voice.
You guys ready to do this topic?
What are we talking about?
hey, what's the topic?
I don't know. Something John wanted to talk about.
Hey, I've heard people talk about the topic, like in Twitch verse and whatnot. Some people, and on YouTube, some people are like, this topic is terrible. And then some people are like, this topic's really good.
But nothing like this topic is amazing.
I'm like, this topic is. I was
we
like,
just played the tip
we're
game
talking-
with John Barrett.
I'm over here going, this topic is being discussed because no one bought this topic in 2012. Because
I did.
I did.
I was
There
more
goes
so
your theory.
referring that there was only 13 million
yeah,
sold.
sure. I thought you were referring to the group.
No.
You even had it, I think, didn't you?
I did. I
So
played this
3
game.
for 3.
Anyways,
1,000.
He did not.
what else? It came with the console when I bought it.
Did.
I got the Zombie U version.
Ooh, sorry.
Ooh, really?
That game had potential. It really
It was.
did.
Yeah. There was nothing
Yeah.
wrong with that game.
And it was part of the partnership with Ubisoft and Nintendo
Ubi.
that's going to continue into 2019, John.
It was very Dark Souls because you had to go find your gear if you died. Plus, you changed the person. You were a
That's what
different
killed me the
person.
most. And you had to use the Wii pad.
Very
That was
roguelike.
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of roguelike, we don't have a transition.
So we're just going to kill and resurrect into a topic. Let's do it.
Topic time.
The topic is some Mario game. After I sat here with John and went, it's new Super Mario Brothers Deluxe, right? U Deluxe. Sorry, yeah, I got it right off mic. But yeah, so as we alluded to, this game originally came out in 2012 on the now famed trash system known as the Wii U.
It's a good system.
It's all right. It was
People just didn't buy it because they thought it was another Wii.
I wonder what that means.
See episodes 2, 7, 14, 32.
Way back. The system's going to come around. People are turning on it. They're really pleased.
So yeah, John, now it's you. Talk.
Here we go.
So talk about Mario. Let me see. Is there a castle? Are there question marks?
This is already going to be fun.
He's just messing with you a little bit. He's going to let you talk.
Well, the like Chris said, this is a 2012 game, and we've seen this since the Switch was released, and I hope they keep doing this. Nintendo has never going to happen. Nintendo has been re-releasing games that were first released on the Wii U, because one thing, if you have a problem with the system, the Wii U and the way it was designed, that's fine, but you got to at least admit the games were stellar.
Yeah, they were really
top notch.
They had good 10 games that were great.
Probably my second or third favorite Mario game is on the Wii U.
3D
Unfortunately,
World?
3D World. Unfortunately, it's not this one.
Yeah,
but it's a really great game. So
news? All right.
Hey, man, it's going to be a little bit longer.
Give me just a few more minutes. I got some things.
Fun fact, this is Mario's first HD outing when it released in 2012.
Oh, okay.
It was the first. It was the first. Hey. It's the first time we ever saw Mario in HD, and
glorious HD.
I think when it came out, it got really decent reviews, but everybody wanted to see
a 3D
Mario, which I've never really truly understood that. I think sales wise, the platforming, the 2D Marios are where Mario gets most of its money.
Because that's the classic Mario.
Yeah.
Plus, you can put it everywhere.
Yeah.
That's right. So,
like, if they wanted to, they could put this game probably on a mobile phone. I'm sure they could.
Oh, you were talking about the game.
Yeah. It's a lot easier to put. It's a lot easier to put this onto a phone or any other platform than it would be to put it on to put 3D World or even more so Odyssey.
I think if they could have done that, they would have.
They kind of did. I mean, Mario Run in a way is a simplify.
It's a runner. You can't go back. You can't backtrack. Sure. You can't do anything. That game makes me curse like you wouldn't believe. And this one, this one is a combination of one of this is one of two things. One, I'm getting old, and I'm not as good as I used to be at 2D platformers like Mario, because I knew Super Mario Brothers 3 inside and out. I knew I managed that game in like a god. Super Mario World, I didn't really play as much. I finished it obviously, but my brother was always a big fan of that one, and it's a great game. But the new Super Mario Brothers series that has haters and lovers alike is what this is a part of. Came out in 2012, and this is just another addition to the Switch library that had a home on Wii U. And so some of the data has already come out in the UK and in Japan. This game in those areas are selling at a 50% higher rate than they did previously when they were on the Wii U.
Probably because there's like 3 times as many.
Well, that's the point. The point is that these people have an appetite for these games.
Sure.
And so I think we're going to see further and further more of these. I don't think, Sean, to your point, we're going to see Mario Maker, because honestly, I don't know how you do it on this system. But I would love to be proved wrong.
Just like you did on the Switch.
What?
Just like you did on the Wii U.
See, you can't talk.
Yeah, I can. And on the 3DS.
There's a lot of different ways to
do it all the same. Just do the same, John.
All I see is here, pay $30 to $50 on a peripheral that can help you manage the game and its inventory.
Because the screen's touchscreen, so you could just use your finger instead of a pen.
Yeah, but you got to have the real estate for that. But we're talking about
TV.
I mean, like, all you need is a menu system, right?
No, there was a lot more Mario Maker. I know, and that's probably one of the biggest challenges. But
so This game is pretty much packaged the same way. It gets all the DLC, and what I mean by DLC is Super Luigi U, which is pretty much the same package you got before. And that game, Super Luigi U, if you want an idea about that game, just play Super Mario Run.
Yeah, and then like 100-second levels.
It's about 100-second levels. Yeah. So everything a little bit condensed, moderated. It's the same game.
It's harder though, right?
It's a relative term. It depends on how you approach the game. If you're trying to do everything in the level, yeah, it's a harder game.
Yeah, I imagine the harder part is
Luigi's
is collections, not so much just getting through a level outside of the later ones.
Getting the coins and stuff like that is hard.
Yeah. But you start off the game for Super Mario. What is this game called?
New Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe.
You have the choice to play right off the jump with 5 separate characters. You can play as Mario. You can play as Luigi. You can play as Toad. You can play as Toadette, which was not originally featured.
That's right.
I've heard she's
Toadette is basically your easy mode. She has this power up that is in the shape of a crown that when you get the power up, you pretty much become Princess Peach. And she has a way of kind of nerfing the game. If you fall down a hole, you can jump in midair out of the hole.
Double jump.
Yeah, I guess technically it's a double jump. But it's sort of... What is
just that fart or burp. It was almost as funny as a fart.
Yeah. So, but then there's an additional character, and I'm pretty sure this was in the Wii U version. The character Nabbit, which he's pretty much invincible. If you're a little kid and you just want to experience the game, like Sean,
it's like bowling with the guardrails up.
Pretty much, bowling,
yeah, because you can't not hit the pins.
That's right.
Challenge accepted on that one. That's
right.
Just throw it in the other lane on purpose and go, what?
Did I hit the pin, Sean? I don't think I did.
But this game, when it came out, I didn't finish. Can I see that, please? My cheat sheet. So I didn't finish this game when it came out on Wii U. I just sort of got distracted with other things.
Like what?
Better consoles?
No.
Skyward Sword?
No.
That wasn't on that one, was it?
It wasn't on that one.
Yeah.
It was on the Wii U.
It was not.
No, it was a Wii U.
I played it on the Wii U.
No, you didn't. Oh, well, you could. You can. But.
Played Wind Waker. That's what you played.
No, I didn't. Put that on Switch.
Ooh.
Is that on Switch?
I don't think so.
So,
yeah?
This game pretty much sucks.
Really?
No, it's okay. It's okay.
This is the greatest John review ever.
It's so hard to talk about a game that is so universally understood.
Yeah.
What do you bring to the table that people don't technically already know about a Mario game?
You said it was already on the Wii U. Does it at least hold up to that? Is it slightly better?
Is it slightly better?
Does it feel better on the Switch?
It feels virtually no different. If the problem, I don't know why that's funny.
If you were someone who played this on Wii U, and you played the DLC back then, is there anything really here for you to come back unless you're just someone who truly loves this type of game?
If you miss this on the Wii U, this is and you're a fan of this series, this is a no-brainer.
Even at $60?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
You're basically getting 2 games, new characters. The value's there. Because the replay value's at least moderately high.
I'm not a huge fan of like a lot of these repackages that have come out. And I mean, it's not like they're the only ones who have done it, right? But they've been doing it a lot. And Blizzard did it with Diablo, where I'm just like, this is $60 because it's not that like I don't have a problem with charging for a price, obviously, for a fair price for a game. It's more of like with a lot of these things, I'm like, these games are 5, 6, 7 years old sometimes. So I'm like, it's hard to argue that. It's hard to argue that in my mind in a world where, like, meanwhile on Xbox you have the backwards compatibility that's kind of solving that problem. And basically, if you bought this game one time, you have it for life, including whatever updates they do, or like what PlayStation
Xbox.
PlayStation's done that with some of theirs that they've converted
PlayStation
to PS4 from PS3.
I mean, I see the argument. But, you know, I mean, you paid $60 for the base game for Super Mario Brothers U.
Yeah.
Then they came out with DLC, which was fundamentally a brand new game.
Sure.
So what you're doing is you're combining two games that they charged probably upwards of $80 for the two of them. They're chopping the price down to $60. You might not think that's still a deal in and of itself, but Nintendo is one of those companies, and I happen to agree, that recognizes and pushes the value of their content. They have the cojones to do it. And when you talk about the fact that very little people got exposed to this game because of a system, this is practically a new game to 20 million Switch players who never had access to it.
But I'll go on and I'll make this bet right now. I would bet if they have some sort of bundles this fall, which I'm sure they will for Switches, one of the games that's included is new Super Mario.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah, so like
no doubt.
That's why I'm like, why are you running?
Well, not everybody, not everybody
Yeah.
is smart like us that thinks that far ahead. Unfortunately, I mean, we're in the biz, if you will, and we're always in the news, and we just kind of know these things. We know
What's
trends.
The biz?
It's the biz. We don't talk about the biz.
Biz Marquee?
But yeah,
baby, you got it.
But I mean, that'll be again. You'll see a spike in sales for Switch units, and people then will be getting the new Super Mario Brothers game. But
yeah.
So as far as the series of new Super Mario Brothers, this one is easily, in my opinion, the best one. This one sort of mirrors and gives sort of a homage towards Super Mario Brothers, Super Mario World from the Super NES, which I think is your favorite.
How many
Mario
level
2D
or zones are there?
I think there are 8. I'm in World 6.
At least 8. The map's set up a little different.
Well, yeah, because I mean, and one of the things that Super Mario World introduced was secret passageways, secret ways of getting around to the different worlds. Yoshi, for example,
Rainbow Road.
Star Road. There's not Rainbow Road. It's not Rainbow Road. There is a Star Road, and what the thing that and this is the fundamental challenge to the hardcore Mario audience. Each level, and this isn't new to the series. It's just new to how they've applied this particular feature. Every level has 3 star coins. You collect those 3 star coins, and you get an indicator on each level. If you get every star coin from every world, you get access to what is known as Star World. I think it's Star Road. And it's virtually the same design, if I'm recalling correctly, from Super Mario World.
And then each world in Star Road, you had to beat a certain way for it to progress to the next part of the star. You could beat it normally, or you had to kind of beat it a certain way.
Yeah, my brother owned Super Mario World inside and out.
I was talking about the one from Mario World.
Yeah, and he was the one that accessed Star World and just knew every nook and cranny of that game.
Dude,
he was obsessed with that game.
I don't know if you played it. I think you would have had to. I think it's in the Luigi version of the game, the Luigi U. But there's a world.
In a world.
Yeah. It's like a Picasso-based painting world in Luigi U.
It's
that idea of that world could spawn an entire new 2D version of Mario that I think a lot of people
there might be a Picasso level in Luigi U.
Yeah.
But I think the game mirrors everything in Mario U. However, there is a Van Gogh Starry Nights level.
Not Picasso, Van Gogh Starry Night. That's what I mean. I'm dumb. Let's just put that out there.
Chop your ear off.
Yep. So the game, I awesome, encourage you to go on YouTube and look at that level. It's a Van. Just type in Van Gogh Mario World.
It's brilliant.
It's a beautiful looking world. Hard as hell.
Yeah.
And I would say probably hard as hell because I'm trying to get every star coin.
Yeah,
sure.
Which probably hindered my ability to finish the game because I was sort of focused on.
Was that the one where
coins.
the pipes are swinging like vines?
Pipes are swinging back and forth. There's circles of ghosts.
Yeah.
And if there's an enemy I hate, it's the ghost. I hate ghost houses, haunted houses in those games. I hate them.
I don't believe you
because they're like.
When you look at them, they stop, and then when you
I
turn
can't
your head,
see
they come
any
at
form
you.
of aggression on your face.
It's just it's just I hate the freaking maze. I don't like it. It's like you go into this door and you don't know where you are. You have to go back and find where you came from. Plus, it's impossible to find the star coins in those houses. I never even bothered. I need a strategy guide. Do you have a strategy guide? Can I borrow a strategy guide?
I Google things like that, John, on the interwebs.
Yeah, literally, there's a whole internet waiting to help you.
Do you know how big the internet is, dude?
It's pretty big.
We're on it right now. What?
Exactly.
We really need more people to go look at our YouTube channel, too, by the way. I went back and looked at our tradition. I know we don't promote that enough.
Sure.
We also don't have video, so most people are like, I just don't want to listen to you
I've
guys.
just mainly put it there because I had a number of listeners who were like, hey, you know, it would be nice if the podcast was on YouTube so I could listen to it while I'm at work.
Just stream
like,
it?
okay, yeah.
And again, if you didn't know we do that, in addition to all of our ways you get us, YouTube has just our audio so you can listen to it at work.
Every single week.
Yep.
So
we're also on Google Play.
One of the things that makes Super Mario Brothers 3 my personal favorite 2D platforming Mario game is the games, mini games that allowed you to walk into a Toadstool's house and you'd stick your finger on the top of the screen and you have to sort of line it up like it's like you're in Vegas. You know, the cherries and all that stuff. Yeah,
like you'd have the giant. Like, you know, you'd have the giant faces.
I know the games. I just didn't know you put your finger up to.
Yeah, you would wait till the first one came on. Once you got it, you'd be like, okay, and then you try to time it when you're going to hit, and based on where it was, so you just kind of would watch it. And
I just eyeballed it and did it perfect.
So it
first
was
time.
It could be a challenge.
Well, aren't you special?
GG.
So it could be a challenge. It could be a challenge to get all these power-ups, these additional power-ups, because you could one of the things that Super Mario Brothers 3 was amazing for is you could have a whole storage of power-ups that you can activate. In Mario World, you only had access to maybe one power-up backup.
That was at the top of the screen.
That was at the top of the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was all well and good. But that game was just more floaty.
But so before you start levels in like this game, as you could in Mario 3, you can pull up that panel of all your power-ups. So if you're having
this game, you can do that.
Yeah.
But in Mario 3, you had a limited space, but you could store up to 30 or 40 power-ups, to my recollection.
Dear Lord.
Here, you only have access to 10 power-ups at any given, maybe 9 to 10 power-ups at any given time. And when you're not playing as Toadette, you're still getting those power-ups that allow you to change into Princess Peach. And if you're Mario and Luigi or Toad, you can't turn into her. Which, that's not gender fluid if you ask me. But
boo. Boo that.
But it's a frustrating thing, and it blocks up your inventory. I had at any given time 3 of those crown power-ups. I didn't want to use them.
Well, that's because it felt like cheating.
Because I didn't want to play a nerfed version of the game.
I get it.
I played the character because I was reviewing the game, but it's just, I mean, she helps you get those hard to reach places, like where the star coins are sitting, where the star coins are sitting above lava, and
she breaks through the glass ceiling of challenge, huh?
Absolutely. Now the power ups are pretty cool. I like the power-ups in general. A lot of them are scarce. Basically, the ones that are most common are your Fire Mario, which is a staple, been with us forever, and your Frozen. It's like
Ice
Block Mario, and the raccoon. Sorry,
Tatooine.
No,
it's a flying raccoon,
flying squirrel.
Thingy.
It's a flying squirrel.
Yeah,
Mario power-up, and you get it right at the beginning of the game. It's basically you don't fly with it, but you glide. And in the middle of a glide, you can press the shoulder button and you can do a leap to get up high to hard to reach places. Now there is a power up that is a flying squirrel that has a P on the front, like in Mario 3, if you recall, the power wing, which allowed you to fly through the entire level of the game.
I remember that.
Dope.
It was.
With this one, it allows you to jump in midair infinite times. With the regular flying squirrel power up, you can only jump twice, and then you just have to sort of float down. I mean, it's an awkward power up at first, but easily once you get used to it, it becomes very reliable. It's not as available in the world as I would like, but it's there. There's Penguin Mario. There is a power up where you have the helmet on and you have the propeller on top.
That one,
I think it was first featured in Mario Brothers Wii.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's a cool power-up. I found it very useful. One of the things in this game is your access to Yoshi, which I think is a first for the new Super Mario Brothers series, if I'm not mistaken. I think it is.
I think you're right.
And then along the course of your journey, you come across the baby Yoshis, which were prevalent in Super Mario Brothers World from the Super NES. And you would feed those babies, and they would become a different colored Yoshi in that game.
Yeah.
But in this game, they stay their size, and they just offer, they're kind of a power-up that you carry with you to help you in the level. There's one that's pink that helps you float through the level. There's one that blows bubbles, which turns enemies into power-ups and coins once the enemy goes inside the bubble. Then there's one more. There's a yellow one that flashes a big light in dark spaces that helps you see, and it eats ghosts, which is so awesome.
But there's no part where Yoshi bites the legs of Goombas and then takes them back to the baby Yoshis and feeds them like the T-Rex in Lost World.
Yeah. What is he talking about? I don't know. One of the things about this game is you compare it to Super Mario World going, gosh, they really held back. Because Super Mario World, when they gave you Yoshi, he was yours until you lost him. Yoshi shows up at different levels, depending on the level. And when you're done with the level, you guys wave goodbye and you go on about your business. It just seems to not allow you to keep the things that you gain in game to where it's on you to lose them. It seems to give and take away a little bit more than I like. But this game to me is the most comparable version of Super Mario Brothers World that we've ever gotten, and it's certainly the best of the new series. And before this game came out, a lot of people were talking about how they were just really tired of the new Super Mario Brothers series. But if you compare it side by side to the original 2D Mario games, they were coming out at virtually the same cadence. People were saying there's a fatigue to this. There was a fatigue to this, but what people were really wanting was a 3D Mario, and they just weren't getting it.
Yeah,
I think that was the real issue. But
so are you saying this game is very much like Super Mario World?
It's the most comparable, yeah.
Are you saying then that Sega, if they wanted to bring back a console, they should go to malls across America and put a new Sonic game up to compare it?
Nobody's this old. I don't know if they will get that
I know you're like, me and you will get that reference. That was how Sega sold the Genesis.
Yeah.
I know.
With Sonic. And
so
I always have to remember that. It's very weird.
This game is really, really, really fun. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
It can be really frustrating at times because I don't remember Mario games being this hard.
Our reaction times is getting bad, dude.
And it's partly that, but the old games never made you work for those 3-star coins. It's just something you never had to worry about. You could discover secret passageways. You remember in Super Mario World, Super Mario World, you could find these keys and it unlocked hidden doors. Super Mario, this game particularly has that type of discovery, and you can discover accesses, new shortcuts to different worlds. I wouldn't call them warp zones, but there's different routes you can take. There's times when you can actually skip over worlds, like you have an option of going this way or that way. The way I play, I just want to play all the levels. I want to experience the entire world. But the game, the game, the aesthetic, everything about the game is really beautiful to look at.
Looks good.
It really does. It plays
got that
well.
Nostalgia field.
Well, not even
absolutely,
that, but it looks really good in HD.
I feel like if you took that game and you went back to 1992 and you said, "This is how Mario is going to look in the future," everyone would be ecstatic,
super pumped. Yeah.
Like they couldn't imagine that there would be 3D worlds too, right? It's like if you just gave that to a kid, then blow their mind.
I'm surprised at how much the art style is divisive. That surprises. Yeah.
Potato, bro.
A lot of people just do not like this art style.
I love it,
and I don't know I don't know what their alternative to it would be. I don't know if I wonder if what they mean is they'd just rather go back to classic sprite Mario games.
It would be cool.
The way that people complain about they'd rather just have Mega Man look like Mega Man.
It would be cool to see them at some point, like
release a game like that.
Like, yeah, do a Super Mario Brothers 3 style game, or take that or Super Mario World style art. And I think that's the one thing that people really liked about Super Mario Maker was it gave you that option to decide what style of art you wanted out there.
I agree.
And I'm almost ashamed to say this, and this is not a knock on this game per se, but you're left wondering what's next in the 2D Mario space.
Yeah.
It almost feels like they've done everything. And other 2D platformers have come around and just sort of done things that Nintendo is going,
yeah.
Where's that level of creativity?
I don't feel like
I'm not saying that the level design is great.
Sure.
But I don't know, just the way that 3D Mario came along and went from Sunshine to Galaxy, that level design and the way they turned the formula of a 3D Mario on its head. I'm looking for Nintendo to keep making these games, but give you something that's the same that you've never seen before.
Yeah. There's more.
And I'm wondering how they do that.
I
don't have the answer. I'm just wondering how they do that.
It's a credit to them, like how great they've been at platforming for so long that over the last, I'd say 4 or 5 years, you've had so many from, something bigger, like, of course, Rayman, which came back and kind of redefined itself to be something new and great. But then at the same time, all these little indie developers who have made one. Of course, we talked like last year, Celeste was in my top 5. And I'm willing to bet Celeste is 10 times harder of a challenge for platformer fans than these Mario games are, right? And that's fine, but it's like, where do they find a balance that can impress those people, but then also find something new to do in a 2D realm?
Over the past 5 to 10 years, we've seen some amazing platformers that haven't been Mario. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I will say, to Mario's credit, in this 2D space, there are no controls. And I challenge anybody to tell me otherwise. There's no controls out there that are tighter. That are tighter than the controls given to a Mario 2D
Celeste
platformer. So I've heard good things.
Yeah.
I'm gonna it's
downloaded free. Blah blah blah.
Thanks, man.
I'm just kidding, man.
You missed your chance if you didn't get it by now.
But I think
I wouldn't say I missed my chance.
That being
you
said,
missed your chance.
I think IGN's review giving it an 8 is spot on.
Okay,
so that's your Richard.
John's Richard for new Sopper. Speaking of Supper, stomach's rumbling a little bit. Just saying. Wendy's Giant Jr. Huh?
Oh, and one of the things it does is, and I was grinning from ear to ear. My favorite level in my favorite world in Mario 3 is the Giant World.
Yeah.
Oh, dude,
Giant
World rocks.
They threw that in there. That in there.
Giant World rocks.
It was great. It was really great.
That. Yeah.
A little bit of a spin on it, but they had giant enemies. It was just, I had a great time with
it. It was
this game.
amazing.
It's harder than I ever remember it because I'm an old fogey. But one of the challenges that made it hard for me was having to go after those star coins. I was probably punishing myself.
Those are hard for old fogies.
Hey, if you jump high enough over the end flag, you get an extra man, John.
I know. Yeah. I know that. No, I've averaged around 30 to 40 lives depending on
show off.
Yeah.
And if I start going after that third star coin, it drops down into the 20s.
Yeah.
But it picks back up. And it gives you those additional lives because later on it gets really
I know you love Nintendo. And this was it was actually a great review once I kind of hyped you up a little bit.
I'm sorry you hate it.
Came out the gate a little slow, but this was legit.
Yeah, I just didn't know how to start because everybody knows everything about Mario.
Me up. Okay. But I can't wait for you to play Metroid this year. That's going to come out in 2019 for you.
That's going to
I hope it does. That'd be
for
nice.
John, I really hope it does. And for me too. That's gonna be my
because
first
think about it, like you'd have a year where you have Ori and Metroid. Like
mind blown.
Yeah.
Dude,
Ori
it's going to be the first time I ever play a Metroid game.
Ooh. Wait.
Is that true?
I own like all kinds of versions of Super Metroid, and I'm just like, man, I don't want to play it.
Before you play this one,
should I play Super Metroid?
You should play Metroid Other M.
What's that on?
On the Wii.
I got one of those.
It's the most hated.
Do you like it?
When we were living together and
I loved it.
And I sat down in his room and like he would go through these cutscenes, I was basically being like Nelson from The Simpsons, just going ha at it because it was that bad to me.
You loved it, right?
But yeah,
I did.
Well, good job, dude.
Thank you.
Anyways,
I'm not ruling out owning this game because I love the 2D.
I'll probably get it.
I love the 2D Mario games, dude. They are what they are, and they're awesome.
I think it's one of those things where, again, for me personally, like if it's on sale, I know Nintendo doesn't like that word.
The word sale with Nintendo.
It's
They've done a little bit better over the years since they've added eShops and things like that.
If it was like $30, I'd pick it up.
It's worth
Yeah, because again, like just the Luigi levels, being able to say, let me take my Switch on the go with me and do something that literally is only going to last 100 seconds. That's appealing.
That's another thing, and maybe it was just assumed, but now you can play New Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe on the go.
That is true.
Which adds like $10 to the value.
Doesn't it? At least $42.
Well, that's cool. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed.
Yeah.
I was really close to buying it and playing it with you. I just didn't. I watched Harry Potter instead.
There you go.
You know,
and I saw you playing.
I played NBA 2K.
I played Super Mario Party with the wife, and then as I did that, I saw you playing Diablo. So I was like,
ooh.
Me and Clarissa, me and my wife.
Your wife?
It's ironic. I've got her playing Diablo again.
Don't you think?
But it's on, Switch.
A little too ironic.
We are now. She's a Paragon level 25.
Yeah, and I really do think.
And I'm a Paragon level 22.
Children.
But you want to call? You really want to do that?
You really want to see? I think my Paragon level was like 500 something.
Take my wife's.
Your wife.
Don't make her stomp you into the ground.
I mean, if she wants to come and dedicate that and do it, hey, that's fine. But until you do it, you know.
The point is, she did.
Yeah, and you did the thing.
And you deleted the game.
She was never as high as I was. I played with her before.
Well, she's the one that actually.
Do you feel better when you say those things out loud?
Yeah,
you ruined it for her.
I didn't mean to.
She actually did it without any help from anybody else.
Yeah,
playing with co-op.
Diablo Richard name.
All I did was play online.
Yeah.
No,
hey man, can you get me bumped up real quick?
Hey
play
man,
with me.
Hey, you try going out there and grinding for a set of the highest level. See how long that takes you. Don't get no help with that. That took many hours to do.
What's he doing right now? Anyway, since we're on Diablo, is it still the definitive version to play on the Switch? There, John.
I don't know.
You said that last week. You said if you want to play Diablo, play it on Switch.
I was just talking about how awesome it is. The Goblin amiibo throws you into the vault every day.
No, you mentioned that. You mentioned that,
sir. Definitive version is actually on PC. It came out in 2000.
You said that, bro. You said if you're going to buy Diablo now, buy it on the Switch. It's the place to play it. That's fine.
There could have been a variation of that.
Don't worry, it's fine.
He was trolling. Anyways,
Ganon. Goblins, all kind of things.
Apparently, someone's going to jail.
And crime happened, or ambulance.
I said if you haven't,
what would you do if blue lights were just flashing up?
If you haven't played Diablo 3 yet and you're interested in playing it, I recommend playing it on the Switch. That's all I said.
It was something like that.
Play the tape.
I don't know.
I think that was the tape because it was exactly like that.
You suck.
You guys want to do news?
I mean, sure, dude.
Whatever.
Let's just.
And they're already checking out.
No, let's end this topic time like we started it. Just out the case.
Yeah. Okay.
Pivot.
Hot off the press and straight to your ears. Weekly Games Chat presents the news.
News.
You need to quit smoking.
You did not lean back and just look at all that peakage.
I think that was me going coughing and whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think I got to start taking sinus medicine. Like, not sinus medicine.
Is that large enough for you?
Allergy medicine. Yeah.
Okay.
I really wish you'd scoot it. John, does that look good to you?
I'm fine with it.
Scoot.
Whatever you need.
Who's going first? That's way better for me. There's something about the glare of the TV or whatever. You went last week, but did I go first? I think I kicked it off, so you go first this week.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do it. You talk about this bank.
Fortnite has made bank. Fortnite, according to data, has made $2.4 billion in revenue last year.
For the record, I think that's like super Super Data is the company that measures this.
Not just
which
data.
I list later on.
Oh, okay. Well, you said according to data, so that's why.
Super Data produces data.
Yeah.
So it is accurate.
Just let them finish the statement.
Some people might have led off with the company who put the report
Let's
out.
just finish the statement.
And it's completely subjective.
Yeah.
Ooh!
$2.4 billion in revenue last year. See, I'm just all flustered.
You got it, bro.
And now
Tighten
holds
up.
the record for the most annual revenue of any video game in history.
What?
For the year. This data does not include revenue from Android or PvE mode Save the World. In addition, Super Data also reports that 34% of all U.S. players bought the Battle Pass on a regular basis. To make things even more impressive, Netflix indicated in its quarterly report that it competes for screen time with Fortnite more than it does HBO.
Yeah, like no one was even close when I looked at this.
That is crazy.
Now, here's the thing. They are top for... I think I might have asked you this, so I don't think I asked you. Mm-hmm. Okay, so they were top of the free-to-play games, right? You know, because, of course, at its core, that's free-to-play.
Yep.
Do you know what the top-selling paid-for game was in terms... Well, not top-selling, but top revenue-generating game was last year for paid games? Like, you had to at least pay something to play it.
Grand Theft Auto 5?
No, that was number 9, though.
At least I made the top 10, John.
Yeah.
Did good, buddy.
So the number 2 game for last year, if you paid for it...
Well, no, they were number 1 on paid. They're in a separate
Why am I
list.
confused now?
Yeah.
What does this mean?
This is skins and emotes and stuff like that.
Free stuff.
But but he's talking about a category where you have to pay intro and
like for instance, like Call of Duty or Red Dead, you had to pay $60 to get the game.
Star Wars Battlefront 2.
It was PUBG. PUBG was $1.4 billion last year.
Oh, a lot of people bailing out on the PUBG.
Yeah, and I was like, when I looked at it, I was like, dear Lord, all right, well, I guess everyone's doing fine.
So I'm in the middle of reading this news.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. And I look up at my family and I go, and Aiden is playing the game while I'm reading this news, and I'm just kind of wondering, you know, if the kids out there are realizing how much money they're, you know, funneling into this thing. And I said, guys, let me ask you something. If you had to guess, just throw out a number, how much do you think Fortnite made last year? And he said $2.5 billion.
Dang.
He just was guessing.
Yeah.
It's like Rain Man guessing the toothpicks that fell on the floor.
He tried to throw some astronomical number out there, and it's really close to what it is. That's what's so impressive about it.
It was crazy.
And I thought you were going to say, like, think of how many households are having at least one person in that house at any given time playing Fortnite. And, like, even my house, I have a guy who, as soon as he gets home from school till he goes to bed, is playing Fortnite.
Really?
Yeah. There's numbers of people that do that.
Yeah, Chris, there are.
His job, analyst.
Yep,
That's his job.
numbers.
I literally almost just wore Diet Dr. Pepper because of your analytics.
I'm not shocked though. I'm wondering where it will be next year.
Like if it exceeds or declines?
Well, it'll be one of those things, right? Now it's into it's out of its prime.
It'll be one of those things.
It'll be one of those things
know
where
it's out of its
it's out
prime?
of its prime year.
How do you know
right?
that?
Yeah, for sure.
How do you know that? We don't know.
Well, I don't think it can accelerate in terms to
don't
being
know.
something that is now something that's known to the world versus before it was this new thing where everyone is consistently, have you played Fortnite? Why aren't you playing Fortnite? You should get on Fortnite, and then you get in, you get sucked in, right?
Is this the first time that it can that is recorded an entire year? Did it come out in 2017?
It came out in 2017, like towards the end, right?
Okay.
It was like September or so when it finally released that mode. So I'm just kind of like looking. It's interesting. I have no doubt it will be if they
Cash
do this
cow.
next year. It's going to be in the top 5, or probably I would be
Maybe
willing to
top-
bet number 1.
Yeah, sure.
It would not surprise me at all. Either them or a mobile game. That's what it always is. So, but I'm interested to see, does it continue to grow, even though maybe its attention kind of shifts because, of course, games, media, and all. They'll cover it, but it's not going to be the same way that they were covering it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Faux show.
Speaking of covering, EA wanted to cover speculation around game cancellations, right?
Did they now?
EA responded officially. EA has officially commented on the reports that an open-world Star Wars game has been canceled. quote, "There's been speculation overnight about one of our Star Wars projects. As a natural part of the creative process, the great work by our team in Vancouver continues and will evolve into the future Star Wars content and games. We're fully committed to making more Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order from Respawn, and we'll share more about our new projects when the time is right," end quote. EA did not officially deny the rumors that a game project has been canceled.
Yeah, that's just good PR talk to say we're not ready to say it's canceled.
It's crazy how, that's all it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, there's that.
I wonder if this is kind of an argument of, like, the information is right, but the details are wrong, in that there's no details. I mean, we've heard developers talk about, ever since we've been, involved in games, that the beginning stages of these things, you throw stuff at the wall and then you cast it away. And I'm almost suspicious that that's really what we're making this out to be.
I mean,
is this a mountain out of a molehill, John?
You said that, not me.
I don't think so, because it's been reported that Disney is not too satisfied how things have gone with
Who's
EA.
reported that?
It's been out there for months. As far as
Where?
like it's
Craig
building.
and them?
I've seen
Are
it.
we talking about the president of Disney indicating that he hasn't been satisfied with Battlefield or
I think it's more so that
Battlefront?
if it's the bigger part to it would be that the people who are running Disney now are not the same people who signed these deals when they licensed out the Star Wars license to EA. So there's like this thing of like, well, we signed this 10-year agreement and all we've got to show for it is a mobile game, which they don't have a lockdown on, and 2 Battlefront games, right?
I guess
so.
I guess what I'm asking for, did you hear that somebody from Disney commented about their library of games and projects, or were you talking about the president or whoever it was talking about that particular fiasco?
No, I'm more so talking about the fact that I've heard from numerous people who are in the games media that there have been consistent rumors around that EA is not too satisfied. I've heard on numerous podcasts.
Jason Schreier?
I've heard Jason Schreier. I've heard Arthur Geese talk about it. I mean,
Arthur Geese is not even in the industry anymore.
Yeah, but he still has connections in the industry as far as that. It's not like that goes away. And he is in the industry still. He writes for Variety. But
like I said, he's not in the industry anymore.
But anyways, it's just
I
one of those,
stand by my comment.
I kind of look at this as like, to me, this is what you would call a classic non-denial denial, right? Like, you're not confirming the story, but at no point did you actually come out and say, yeah, that's true. And it's probably just because they want to, when they do announce this as an official cancellation, it's probably because they have something else that they would rather announce to you instead.
I just wonder if we just have a heightened awareness of it because it's EA and Star Wars and Battlefront 2 and all that stuff. When projects that are set out turn out to be not the game that is the finished product. Yeah. I would be willing to bet that that's all this is right now.
Maybe. And
it's a story in search of a headline to me.
Possibly.
But we do know.
Let's see how you do this.
I can't.
While the cancellation of games from EA may worry you, there are some people that like to put to rest worry, like Bungie.
That's stupid too.
Yeah,
we should just be ourselves.
I try. Just say the next thing.
Bungie and the future of Destiny.
Boo.
Luke Smith, Destiny franchise director, has put worry to rest about the future of Destiny for many fans. Smith posted on the company's website thanking Activision and other development partners for their help. Quote, "We want to find the line between new content that many players can play and aspirational content for players to progress toward. We're exploring improvements to catch up mechanics for players in upcoming seasons. Bungie is committed to Destiny. We created the universe, and we hold its future entirely in our hands," end quote. He further clarified that much of the Bungie team is currently working on future Destiny content, whatever that means.
Yeah, I'm getting
You're the Destiny guy.
I'm getting the itch. I used to be.
I just mean you're the subject matter expert.
Yeah, I'm getting the itch to want to go back and play it. I don't know if it's because now I know Bungie has kind of like their own...
Because Activision's not involved.
I don't know if that's what's got me hyped to play it. I know I was very close at a previous time when some people I played with were playing it and saying, "No, you don't understand. It's good." I don't know. Sometimes you just get the itch, John. You got to scratch it,
or take penicillin.
Whether it's like your taint, your ear, your foot, whatever it is, you got to scratch it, man.
What is a taint?
So
anyway,
see John Bright. Oh,
so my question to you guys is: do you think Bungie can move forward without a distributor of some kind?
Sure, because they'll find one.
Yeah, Chris said it last week. Yeah, like I said, why can't they just make their own games? Like, why can't they publish them everything? And Chris was like, nah, they're not as big as an EA was. Not
Could
EA,
it be?
But they can. They're big enough to make their own games, and then just go out there and go like, "Hey, 2K, would you like to publish Destiny 3
Platinum
and make a
Nordic Games?"
No. All
THQ Nordic.
I was going to say
no. But like they could go there. They could make a deal with Ubisoft. Who knows? You never know.
I think that's too.
They could
Sega?
I think that would be too competitive with Division and so many other things that they've got. That would just clutter up space. That's why I don't think they would. Maybe Square. I don't think.
You mean like having 2 games on ships?
What? No.
No, Ubisoft. Like, you know what I mean? Like having two.
The type of game when you're competing with
Assassin's
so much.
Creed on ships, and then let's make a ship game about ships.
Ubisoft next week.
Touche.
This spring, Just Dance ships.
So you're dancing on a ship.
I think they'll be fine. What this sounds like to me is like, we want to make the content we want to make, and we don't want to have to worry about what a publisher overhead of us thinks we should be making.
I just want to
that doesn't surprise me.
Screw Activision. There were some BS.
But I'm sure they'll be fine. I mean, who knows? Time will tell. I don't.
You're saying so many great lines.
It's kind of like there will be someone who will publish this game, even if it's down to Microsoft and Sony individually publishing it for their respective consoles, if that's what it took. I mean, there's too much money to be made.
Cool.
Yeah.
Speaking of free, Call of Duty's Blackout. Call of Duty 4 Blackout. Wait, Call of Duty Black Ops 4's Battle Royale mode.
There you go.
Blackout became free to play on Thursday, January 17th on PC, PS4, and Xbox One. The trial will end tomorrow, January 24th. So if you're just hearing about it now, you might want to go home for lunch and go ahead and download it because it's going to go away. The update will include everything from the base Battle Royale mode only. That's the only free thing you get. It's fine. Just mess with things, Chris. Don't worry about it.
You're a little low.
Yeah?
Is that okay? Can I help you?
I'm not low to their ears. Now I'm super loud in my ears.
Well,
you're the worst board op of all time.
But you're totally in the green or in the middle.
It's fine, dude. I'm done. There you go.
You still playing this?
Yeah. Call of Duty. When I play it, it's more multiplayer and zombie mode. Haven't really dived any kind of way into Blackout.
Really?
Yeah.
Not a bit.
People are mixed on what they're playing. Mm-hmm. Like,
that's
from
what
our
makes,
friends.
That's what makes this game so good because all 3 modes are good. They're very
Ryan
good.
Leaf loves his zombies.
And he got me to really love the zombies.
Yeah. A lot of people love zombies. And then, Tate and all of them love the multiplayer. And then Slade
and Jeff.
And they play the Blackout. Yep. So,
yeah. It is what it is, man. And no need to apologize for how good it is.
Apologize.
We should know next week whether Chris owes me lunch or not.
It is. It's starting to leak out. Yeah, I saw a couple of posts today about it. So the main big data set isn't out there, but obviously they're
not the super data or just the data.
Yeah. I'm talking about sales,
but the
for
big
MPD,
data.
Yeah, their main thing hasn't released, but they're like teasing up some things. So,
any hints at all?
Switch 1 December. As far as
I'm talking about this between this and Red Dead.
Yeah, no, I don't know that yet.
What did you think we were talking about? He said Chris owes me lunch, and now you're calling out Switch Run December? Dude, did you have a stroke, dude?
Switch 1 December?
No, we were talking about whether you owe me a lunch or not.
Well, I was talking about MPD in general. Like this is what
we were talking
why?
about.
Why did you do that when he said Chris is going to owe me lunch? Because we just talked about Call of Duty, and then you went talking about MPDs.
Well, because what he was referring to is the bet is predicated on MPD numbers. So I was like, they're slowly starting to roll
predicate
those
my.
out.
You should apologize.
I'm not. You can't make me do that.
Well, I know who is.
Oh,
Ubisoft.
What?
Apologizes.
That's amazing.
Unfortunately. Ubisoft has run into some controversy or controversy
There you go.
with its second DLC for Legacy of the First Blade.
What is that?
It's a DLC called Legacy of the First Blade.
Well, what is that from?
It's kind of about the first person to ever use a hidden blade.
It's from Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Sean.
Oh,
there you go.
Okay.
The game had distinguished itself early on by allowing players free range of choices to include types of relationships to pursue. However, the recent DLC update pigeonholes the player into a heterosexual relationship in order to serve the story, which I won't spoil here, but one can imagine.
Ooh.
Ubisoft responded to those offended saying, quote, "We strive to give players choice whenever possible in Odyssey and apologize to those surprised by the events in this episode. Without spoiling it, you will engage in an important relationship as part of a set story. The motivation behind this relationship is yours to explore in-game and will be reflected in your character's story arc. There is one episode left in Legacy of the First Blade which will tie your character's actions together." That's supposed to be an end quote. They further clarified with an apology. Prior to this, what I read was kind of how they explained it, but it didn't help. It didn't alleviate any outrage. So they eventually caved and apologized. "We want to extend an apology to players disappointed by a relationship your character partakes in. The intention of this story was to explain how your character's bloodline has a lasting impact on the assassins, but looking through your responses, it is clear that we missed the mark," end quote.
Yeah.
I don't know enough to I don't know enough to comment about it.
I'll take it from here.
I haven't played it, but I will say this: when a open world RPG gives you choice as far as how you're going to perceive love interest, whatever you decide,
and then takes it away from you,
and then takes away, it kind of does ruin the concept of like what that is meant to do, right? It's like if you want to be a homosexual person in the game, they usually have those options available to you, and you can proceed to go down that path that's what you want to do. I don't usually do it, but so I could definitely understand here if like you're interested in role playing in this game, right? And you've always denied heterosexual relationships, and now all of a sudden you're being told that choice has gone out the window for the sake of main story for, I guess, kind of legacy reasons, right? You know, for them to set up a bloodline for later or whatever. It kind of, it takes away that whole entire point. It was like, well, if I was role playing this way and now that's gone, it kind of sucks because it's like my choices for the previous 50 hours apparently now have no, ground on it.
So I guess my thought was if a game wants to say this is how the story is, that's still fine if they had chose to have a heterosexual story in general. But because of the fact that everything up to this point, you really had all the choices you wanted to make in the world, that's where the kind of, not outcry or outrage, but the kind of like, really, guys, you're missing the mark kind of aspect of it comes from, right?
Yeah. That's the only thing I would have a problem with it. But again, I've been playing a heterosexual. Well, actually, no, because it's Greece. I've just been kind of sleeping with everyone.
You've been going to Pound Town?
No, I haven't. I haven't gone to Pound Town. But I will say, I mean, while I haven't dove into the DLC, I have finished the game.
We know,
the main
John.
story. And thanks. I got to tell you, this is reminiscent. I don't know if it's an exact, nothing ever is exact, but kind of fan complaints about how Mass Effect 3 ended. Or what Mass Effect did with story versus all the things and decisions you made didn't seem to matter, and sort of, the ending didn't seem to justify the journey.
No, they're idiots.
Which, I'm not saying anybody's an idiot.
Yeah, you said the Mass Effect guys are idiots.
No, I'm calling the fans idiots.
One of the chief complaints I heard about this game, which is legitimate, in fact, Chris and I actually said it on the episode, was these relationships,
they don't mean anything.
They don't mean a thing.
Yeah.
They are, I think there's one connection you make with a player, which is driven by the story, if I recall correctly. It just puzzles me that people use this as a political cudgel to go after a company for making agency in a game who has the vision. I'm sure that there's people out there that are legitimately offended with no motive, but if the relationships to begin with never mattered and the bloodline of this character mattered, which the story indicated the bloodline of the character mattered, This is a logical step to making sure that bloodline carries on. There's no way of getting around that story arc logically while insisting that you maintain the sexual lifestyle you want it to maintain. And I would argue that the sexual lifestyle you have in this game is the least important of your agency in the game.
Sure.
There are more agency to who you decide to kill, how you decide to approach story. There are so many other things that bear 10 times more weight than who you go inside a door with and
go to Pound Town.
Yeah, whether it's a man, a woman, or a goat.
Oh.
But maybe that's the point, like, is that there will inevitably be some people that, like, if they're given that option, they would prefer to be able to make their own preference of choice as opposed to just being told, nope, you're heterosexual now. And
but again, that goes back to my initial thing is, but if that's how the game wants it, because that's the story that they wrote, is that really bad? I don't know. I don't know enough about it. That's just my 2 cents. And I think you spoke well, John. I think you spoke well, Chris. And I'm glad that if they felt the need to apologize, they did it. Sometimes I believe that when you need to apologize, you should. But then I feel like sometimes, like I alluded to earlier, you're pressured maybe to apologize when you really.
It's just easier for them to apologize.
Yeah, in this case, I think it's the right thing to do. For real.
It's like, look, just apologize and move on because, if we're being honest here, no one's going to care about this in 2 months.
2 months from now, Ubisoft is
Kevin Hart
gone.
is done apologizing.
Yeah, he's gonna let everybody know.
He doesn't care.
Let Michael Strahan ask him, John. Huh? Kojima shows off his game. Yeah. Ooh. That same Kojima that you're going, that Kojima? Yes.
I wrote this hoping you would read it.
You may not believe this, but there are people outside of Kojima Productions who have seen 2 hours of Death Stranding. Don't be jealous because it's not us. However, they showed the game to the next best group of people. That's subjective. Guerrilla Games. Don't get your hopes too high because they clarified that the game is not yet completed. Likely this was a thank you for allowing the game to run in Guerrilla Games in Studio Engine. Regardless, I would be shocked if after seeing 2 hours of the game, you still had any clue as to what the hell the game is about.
As it's meant to be.
Somebody described it on a podcast going, you're Guerrilla Games and you're watching this thing and everybody's looking at each other going, what is this? And then Kojima turns around and they're like, thumbs up.
Love it, dude. Can't wait to see the rest.
It's like you can't tell Martin Scorsese that his movie's crap. He's Martin Scorsese. It's like nobody knows what he's doing. And what is it? Mads Mikkelsen had done all his lines for the film, and he came out and said, "I don't know what it's about. I have no clue."
That last movie he did?
No, this. He's
The Departed.
That's funny. But hey, I think he's probably just. I could definitely agree. He's probably appreciative because this is the first time he hasn't had to build a game engine for whatever he wants to make. Yeah. That probably saved him 5 years right there.
Oh yeah, probably true.
But I wait and hope that at some point we see a little bit more of it this year.
I can't wait for that game.
Yeah.
I know it didn't make my most anticipated of 2019, but
it would be because it won't come out this year.
It'd be funny, like when they finally reveal this, is that like it's been all diversion, and then in the end, it's like, oh look, there's Snake. It's Metal Gear Solid 6. I would laugh.
Yeah, not a laughing matter though, John.
Yes, Pinkerton Consulting and I can't even do this. Pinkerton Consulting and Investigation sues Take-Two. Who's Take-Two, Sean?
Just keep reading, John.
They make the NBA 2Ks.
Yeah. In December, the above company, because I don't want to say it again, sent Take-Two Interactive a cease and desist letter. Now, I had not heard about this, and I'm sure Chris had.
I had.
A cease and desist letter over the use of the characters Andrew Milton and Edgar Ross. Pinkerton showed appreciation. Showed appreciation for Rockstar's clear affection for Pinkerton, but felt the developer was, quote, creating a false impression that the game was made by or connected with Pinkerton, end quote.
Yeah.
Poor Sean, man. He is coming unglued.
I'm good, man. Let's just keep reading, bro.
They are demanding a lump sum or ongoing royalties. Take-Two countersued Pinkerton, claiming the characters are within the protection of the First Amendment and are requesting the characters be declared fair use, arguing they're part of Red Dead Redemption 2's detailed historical setting.
That's a fair point.
Quote. I wonder how Chris feels about this.
Oh, here we go.
I mean, it's already out, so I don't care.
It's the greatest game ever.
I don't care. It's already out. At the very least, they'll probably just pay him some money and move on. I don't think it's a big deal. I will say their one problem I could see is that like they're in the first game, and that came out 10 years ago, and you didn't say anything then. Well, what was those same two characters are in the first game more predominantly? So I don't understand how you would be okay with it then when that game sold 15 million, right? And now 10 years later, you all of a sudden have a problem with it. Why? Because why? Because they don't look great and ethical. Because guess what? They sure as hell weren't ethical in the first game either. So I don't know. I'm sure it will work itself out. I actually do think that's an interesting point because that's usually the way with something like Assassin's Creed gets around those issues is like you can say that they're fair use because it is a historical thing. Like for instance, like no one's suing because Call of Duty puts Nazis in games, right?
Yeah, no one's suing the author of Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
Exactly.
Because
I love that book.
That's the first book I ever bought Clarissa.
I remember that.
That's a fun fact.
Abraham Lincoln
do remember
Vampire
that.
Hunter.
Dude, that book is so good.
I never read it. It's on my list.
You should. The movie was
it's more up my alley than hers.
Dude, it's so good. Abraham Lincoln, right?
Vampire Hunter.
Hunting vampires, bro.
Hunting vampires.
It's amazing.
And saving the Union.
What?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just I'm with you, Chris. I don't think they have any leg to stand on here. I mean, historical fiction is a thing.
Yeah.
Like my favorite book has Theodore Roosevelt as a character. As police commissioner of New York, launching an investigation that never happened.
Yeah.
About a serial murder that never happened.
What book is this? It sounds amazing.
The Alienist by Caleb Carr.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Is that on? Dude, new bit. John's Reading Club of the month. John's Book Club.
What's
there
John
it is.
reading? Right now I'm reading a book called...
That would be good
stuff. But this is
that'd be outstanding.
This is dead in the water. I just unless Rob disagrees with us, he can let us know.
Wonder if Rob has 2 cents on that.
Ooh, I'd love to hear it.
Yeah,
it just doesn't seem like a thing to me.
I hope Rob's okay from all the snow they got.
You know what is a thing? The Division 2 beta.
Oh,
pivot! That was a good old lock and loaded pivot right there, huh? Yeah. Division 2 gets a private beta. Ubisoft has announced that the private beta for the Division 2 will launch in early February. The beta will last from February 7 through February 10. Players can gain access to this beta by pre-ordering the game on Amazon or GameStop or wherever you want to, or by registering for limited spaces through the game's website. No details were specifically given on the beta except to say, quote, experience the dangers of post-pandemic Washington, D.C.
with Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
And Teddy Roosevelt as our presidently police officer guy. End quote. Police officer guy.
It's actually a good time for that to come out because it's like days before all the big releases start rolling out. So it's like you have that last little weekend. Why not go check out the Division? And then you can
generate some hype. Yep.
Yeah, then you can either go play Crackdown, Far Cry, or Metro. And then if you're going to go play Anthem, you go play that the week after.
Yeah.
And by the time that game is ready to come out, you're like, oh, yeah, I played that back in February. I should check that out.
Yeah, that's how it goes, Chris.
Yeah. Smart. You know what may also be smart?
Oh, my God. We got to stop letting him do pivots, John. Just say the thing.
It's also skipping Steam.
What is?
Division 2.
Oh.
I feel like this came up last week.
See, that was good. How we did that, see?
Yeah, I put it in there because
to do that?
I got just ravaged by you two for not putting it in.
As you should.
Ubisoft and Epic Games together dropped a steamer.
Ooh, a Cleveland one.
They are teaming up to bring the publisher's PC games. What?
Yeah.
You wrote this.
I know.
The publisher's PC games, like computer games, including the Division.
Including the Division 2. Thanks, man.
Jeez.
to the Epic Games.
Just read what you wrote, bro.
You know me better.
Just
than
read
anyone.
what
You're
you
so
wrote.
dumb.
Man. They are teaming up to bring the publisher's PC games, including The Division 2, to the Epic Game Store. The game will be semi-exclusive to Epic Game Store on Windows PC. The game will also be sold on Ubisoft's online store. Epic has already made a few exclusive deals for the online store, but the deal made with Ubisoft puts a large shiny feather in their cap.
Basically says, screw you, Steam. We're not doing anything to help you.
Because they want to launch that Epic game thing.
Yeah. I think,
like you just said.
yeah.
You kind of alluded to the fact that I should have put this in the news last week. Why are they doing this?
Well, they're doing it because I think most developers do not like working with Steam. They don't like the fact that they take a very large percentage of the sales that come out there, and Epic is offering a much better return. But the other thing is that they see this as an option. Like, everyone went out there and tried to launch their own store. Ubisoft had one, EA has Origin. I think Bethesda might even have something. I can't remember. Of course, you've seen it with Activision and Battle.net. That's what Battle.net, right?
Battle.net.
Yeah, whatever. But they're all trying to do what they can to kind of maybe inflict some harm so that they can create their own markets.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Well, Sean, Ubisoft has left Steam and taken its business elsewhere.
Mm-hmm. It's talents, if you will.
Yeah.
But finally this week,
Elsevire's expansion announced.
Thanks, man.
Elsewhere. No, I don't think it's called Elsewhere.
It looks like it's called Elsewhere.
I think looks like Danny Elfman.
Elsewire. I think it's called. It's you got to think it's Bethesda. It's Elder Scrolls. It's not just going to be Elsewhere.
I think it's a play on words and spelled funky for you to
because
immediately recognize Elsewhere, which is why I pivoted and segued into Elsewhere.
Well, here's
play
the thing.
along.
Here's the deal. I'm going to say Elsewhere, and if it's wrong, it's John's fault. Okay.
Fine.
So the Elder Scrolls Online, otherwise known as ESO, Elsewhere, the next major expansion in the popular MMO. John, what does MMO stand for?
Massively multiplayer online, or something variation of that word.
Okay, will be released on June 4th. That's a special day for me, and you'll never know why. The expansion will be in similar size and scope of last year's Somerset Zone, which was pretty awesome if you played it. I actually, Chris, gotta be honest, I kind of want to play some ESO.
Ooh,
and features a 30-hour main story told over 4 quarterly releases. Quarterly.
Nice.
That means like once every 3 months or something.
That's a quarter.
The story will see players side with the Khajiit as they defend their homeland from both invading Imperials and dangerous dragons. Yes, dragons. That's legit. The expansion will also introduce the Necromancer, which means something.
Yeah, those are cool.
Yeah, they're cool. This is the first new class since the Warden was added in 2017. Really cool. They are pretty dope. This is just a few items in what appears to be a ton of new content for 2019. Hey, Elder Scrolls fans, rejoice.
For sure. It's definitely been an MMO that
it started weird, right?
Yeah, it started slow, and they figured it out. Kind of like how, Knights of the Old Republic or, of course, Final Fantasy Online for 14. And yeah, that should be a lot of fun. It's kind of like, it's like one of those things where I think if you are the hardcorest of Elder Scrolls fans, this is why you're okay waiting for 6, right? Like, you would love to have that, and I'm sure there'll be plenty for people to dive into when that ever comes out in 2030. But before then, it's like, just keep adding to this world, because there's a lot of content and a lot of places and races and classes you can explore. So I'm sure it will be good. That it?
I can't wait.
I know you really can't wait.
I can't wait.
We could play together on Xbox through Game Pass.
We can?
Yeah, Elder Scrolls is on there.
It's an MMO on a console that runs amazing on a console.
Really?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, it's legit.
Why hasn't this is a dumb question? I'm pretty confident. Why hasn't WoW come to consoles?
Blizzard doesn't want it to. They'd rather have Diablo 3 mobile game announced at BlizzCon.
That's probably right. Plus, they'd probably want crossplay, I'm sure. in order
You would
to do
think,
it.
yeah. And they're like, no. The other consoles like,
You guys want to wrap this up?
never.
You know, I checked this yesterday, right? And like it was probably about 5:30. I checked it. One email saying in there. I come in after work today and refresh. I'm like, dear God, what happened? So thank you, everyone. If you want to write your thoughts and opinions in, you can write them to weeklygameschat@gmail.com. That's weeklygameschat@gmail.com, just like Adam did.
Adam.
Hello,
Yeah.
Adam.
Whoa, Adam's wordy, and I like it.
Right?
Yeah, so much girth in that
He
paragraph.
says, he starts by saying, good evening, gentlemen.
Hey, good evening,
Good
Adam.
evening.
Good evening, sir.
Can
At
you
the
hand
ri-
me a match so I can light my pipe?
At the risk of being long-winded, I wanted to thank you guys for your podcast. I started listening back in 2016
Ooh.
during a rough patch in my life. That was also a rough patch of sound for our life.
Well, was it early or late 2016 when it started?
We started in 2015.
Oh.
Yeah,
Well, then we had good audio then.
maybe.
Yeah.
I can't remember. A rough patch in my life, and binging and listening to you guys every week was one of the few small joys that helped me keep going. For that, I can't thank you guys enough.
Dude, that's awesome. We're glad we're here for you, man. It's good to
Yeah.
hear from you, for real.
I wanted to chime in on something that has come up on your show the last few months, and something that I think was quietly debated, or quietly the biggest debate in gaming in 2018, that being the debate about video games as art, as represented in the debate between God of War and Red Dead Redemption 2. Chris last week hit the nail on the head in likening Red Dead to, say, a film that would be up for an Oscar, thus missing the mark with the general populace. As an English major and film nerd, I risk sounding like a pretentious snob, but I think the issue with Red Dead not taking off with the public in the same way God of War or Spider-Man have is that the games still largely...
Video games
still largely exist in a realm where we define them as pop art. The bar is lower and the standards are lower, but the barrier to entry is also lower. God of War, by most video game standards, is a great game. God of War, by high artistic standards, is not a great piece of art. I won't get into my issues with the game too much, but I only say the biggest issue with the game has to do with Atreus. He's half the emotional core of the game, and he's delegated to being a rather annoying exposition dump or puzzle tip giver, on top of being poorly written and poorly performed. Whew. This
subjectivity,
one, right? This wouldn't be too much of a problem, but considering God of War is garnering substantial amounts of praise for being a mature, thoughtful, emotionally driven narrative masterpiece, it becomes a problem. I blame the director of the game, not the actor, who was a phenomenal as the star of Jonah Hill's film last year, mid-90s, as writing children isn't easy in any medium. That's true. That being said, it's perhaps the biggest issue that prevents the game from being the consummate work of art that many are falsely claiming it to be. As a result, it has driven me absolutely up the wall to hear it garnering so much or more praise this year than Red Dead 2. I get everyone is proud of Sony for bringing God of War into more substantial territory, but it doesn't deserve the praise for being revolutionary when it's simply doing what Naughty Dog and Rockstar have been doing for 2 console generations now, and a poorer job at that. Good art requires work from those participating in it. Good art requires patience. Ask the participants to learn it and to do some work themselves in an attempt to achieve a kind of meditation. Red Dead Redemption 2 is this in practice. Red Dead is art. It's challenging. It requires you to play it and enjoy it at its pace. Like Breath of the Wild last year, deeply rewards the player if they allow themselves to open up to it and let it work its magic on them, rather than simply catering to the player's most basic video games needs and wants. The question asked of most Red Dead this year has been, it's great, but is it really fun? I would respond by saying its main concern isn't to be fun. God of War's ultimately is. As a result, Red Dead is advancing video games as art more than God of War, which of those who love video games should be most excited about. History will judge Red Dead as the better game, and history is the only critic that is 100% correct 100% of your time.
Of the time.
Of the time. Sorry, yeah. Thoughts? Your mom's box? Much love. It's like so serious. Then, by the way, your mom's box.
That's why we have the best fans and the best listeners ever.
I wouldn't go so hard on them, but I kind of understand what he's saying to some degree.
I get what he's saying, and during the middle of that, I brought up the word subjectivity.
Yeah.
And I think ultimately that's what it is. To one man, God of War is all the art they need, and Red Dead may not be their cup of tea, and that's where it comes from. But you can't argue how beautifully done Red Dead Redemption 2 is on a massive scale. From front to back. It's a great game.
Yeah.
But you can't tell me that I don't like God of War and I don't think that character is a good character. And I'm speaking just in a general term, not me directly.
Yeah.
I'm saying if I like God of War, how are you going to tell me that Atreus is not awesome to the story, that he's more than just an annoying kid? It depends on how the game hit you as you played it. If you made the connection with Kratos and the kid and the story, I'm sorry, you went on a journey and everything about the game was perfect. It just was. If you missed that connection, possibly your experience was different. But to each his own. Look, I beat God of War and I quit playing Red Dead. That's just me.
Yeah.
Y'all got to say something now because that's
somebody once opined.
Oh, he's using. Did you study at the like a dictionary this week or at the source or something?
Lost it.
You're just smart like that. You just graduated.
You lost it. I'm sorry.
I'm just kidding. No, I'm good. Somebody once said that when asked what the definition of art is, and he said something to the effect of, if you have to question whether it's art, that in and of itself means it's art.
Right.
That's pretentious.
Because art, well, Adam should relate then. I respect Adam's opinion, obviously. And I don't have any problem per se with his point regarding Spider-Man, I guess. It's more of the popcorn flick. It's more of the Marvel version of Hollywood cinema, if you want to apply that to games. But Marvel's cinematic universe is art.
And the MCU
simply is art.
Yeah.
You don't like the art? That's valid. But it is art.
Hey.
I don't like Picasso, but I would get slapped in the face if I tried to say that Picasso wasn't art. To me, it's a guy that couldn't draw. So that's what that means to me.
You can't think abstractly.
Abstract art is hilarious because we had a team outing where one of the guys who's kind of a meathead.
Yeah.
With all due respect to Adam, the idea that God of War is put in the same category and kind of cast to the side like Spider-Man boggles my mind. I know annoying kids. Atreus is not an annoying kid.
To me either,
I can tell you. The performances in that game, I'm sorry. Look, I didn't play Red Dead Redemption. I didn't play it. But I think we get trapped in this thing where your Xbox or PlayStation, and whether you're Xbox or not, you have to hate PlayStation. If the two games up for Game of the Year this year, it's almost like we get tribal with it. God of War sucks. No, Red Dead Redemption sucks. Why? Because this one's better. To say that God of War is not art and not story and not relationships and not character and not seeing the subtle beauty of, I'd have to spoil it, all the markings that you see on your journey. To you, they're just level design. But as the game progresses, you realize there's a whole lot more to that. That's building something. That's building a journey for you. And if you don't think that's art, respectfully, I disagree.
I think he was going, though, fine art, right? Or high level art kind of thing. He's making, because he even said, like, he to defend himself, he said, like, not to risk coming off as an English nerd or an English major and a film nerd, right? It's kind of like when I look at today Oscar nominees came out, right? And whenever I look at the Best Picture thing, there's always two breakdowns of what I see on there. I see things that are well done and really good, and I don't know if I would say, like, oh, they're really, really trying to go to a place that, like, no one is going,
from a technical perspective,
just everything. Like, you know, there are some films that they are pushing a boundary, and then there's others that are kind of like they're following a formula or whatever, just kind of to make a great film. And it happens every year. This year, like, I'm looking at the nominees for Best Picture, and I kind of went like, man, there were 2 films on this list that, if you asked me, out of all 8 that got nominated, I felt pushed boundaries and did all that. And then there's the other 6 that are solid films. They're great. Some of them are going to be well remembered, including Black Panther was on there, if you want to compare some to Spider-Man, right? So that's kind of like where I take it here. I do agree with them to some point. Like, there are certain parts in this game, like of God of War, where he's right. It's like kind of pulling from Naughty Dog and what Guerrilla Games did with Horizon Zero Dawn, and CD Projekt Red did with Witcher.
But
right?
all art pulls from art. That's just how it works. Red Dead Redemption pulls from something.
Yeah, but it. I'm sure it will be debated there, but my point is...
I didn't even know this was a debate.
Debate. Oh, no. I mean, like, it will be debated by people over time, but I'm one of those people. I kind of say, when I'm talking about it being an Oscar thing, Adam, I more so just meant, like, one is concerned about the gameplay and obviously in how it keeps you paced, so you always feel like there's something for you to go towards, whereas the other is more of, like, again, and he was right, like, kind of like Breath of the Wild, just walk out and see what happens and see where you get led to. Sometimes it's a narrative point. Other times it's just what happens in the world type thing. Right. So that was kind of more where I was going to when I was originally talking about it. I think God of War is great. I think it's one of the best games of this generation. I think
but you also think Red Dead 2 is amazing.
Yeah. I just think Red Dead's the better game. I mean, I'm with you. I don't like the whole entire dividing it up and saying one's terrible, one's great. I love both.
It's amazing that we have both of those.
Yeah.
That we're able to experience. So that's the way I really want to take it. And I've seen this next game that you're going to bring up.
Okay.
And it looks freaking amazing. So,
O. Brown wrote in, a.k.a. Young Sandwich.
Yeah.
And he says, hi, guys. Could you guys give this game a go? He titled his email, My Time at Porsche, whatever. It's truly a beautiful game. Think Stardew Valley meets Breath of the Wild. Love what you guys do.
Yeah.
Thanks for the weekly entertainment, Young Sandwich.
No problem, Young.
Look, it gives me things just to go, will do.
Tell me more about this.
It looks like that. It looks
cool.
It looks amazing.
What's it called? Portia?
The time at Porsche.
The time at Porsche
or Portia. It's definitely not Porticia. Like Chris tried to say, if he would just read the words and not anticipate what he thinks they're going to say.
Maybe I have a disability.
You might. I'm going to make sure to talk about that disability.
See how you do with numbers.
Have you seen Cobra Kai? Do you see how Johnny handles his students?
I have not watched Cobra Kai.
Me.
Next up, we got Clay. He writes a lot on our Facebook page.
Yeah, Clay rules. What's up, Clay?
And he says, hey, guys, Clay here.
What up? Say something, John.
And then he decided to do a very extended indent.
That's okay. He just wanted to emphasize it.
But he says to suggest something first. Please don't stop doing your rating scale segment. That
S word is funny.
We just figured it was getting limp over time.
Oh,
boom.
On my thoughts, hey, here you go. Here's some more opinions on this, though. On my thoughts of Red Dead Redemption 2, it was a great story and a great game. It's one of my favorites of the generation. However, all the side collections and challenges are a bit much. I probably won't mess with it anymore. I may dabble with the online portion eventually. So instead, I've continued playing Marvel's The Spider-Man. My most anticipated games I wish to play this year are 1. Finish the story in DLC of Spider-Man, 2. Breath of the Wild, 3. Horizon Zero Dawn, 4. Division 2, and 5. Days Gone. Game on, fellas. And I'm sure it's been a great episode as always.
It just 7. It just got better from your email. I don't mean to break the news to you, but your most anticipated games list has 3 games that are already out.
Well, that's the thing. I figured that.
And one you said was your most anticipated of 2017.
I still need to open Horizon Zero Dawn.
It's still in the cellophane.
I can't wait for Days Gone in Division 2.
What are you doing tonight? You could open that game.
No, man. I got to do some things.
What you got to do? You got nothing to do.
Well, I'm kind of at this point now where like the complete edition of Horizon Zero Dawn is out. Mm-hmm. And I just have standard basic edition. And I'm like, I want complete edition.
Yeah, I got the complete edition. It was on sale on the PlayStation Store a couple during the winter sale. I synced it. Yeah. Should have done it.
Well, I had an unopened game sitting right there.
Next up, we got Sean.
Yeah, sorry guys.
Why'd you write and change your spelling?
I missed you guys before last time we recorded. And
he says, "Hey, you three ninjas, old school movie."
Yeah, what up?
When I read this originally, I said, "Hey, you surf ninja, back."
I'm not showing off. I'm playing basketball.
That's another old school one from that time.
I'm letting y'all do this. Come on.
It's been a while. Sean here.
Yeah, here I am.
Oh. Last week on the podcast, there was a young buck that mistaken you guys from being from Texas, and I can understand where you get the mix up from because in his defense, you guys do sound like you could be from my neck of the woods, aka Central Texas.
That's not how they talk in Texas. I know people from Texas. This is complete and utter non-truthfulness.
Utter
by Sean.
Fake news.
Fake news.
But if that was the case during the podcast, we would love to hear you guys.
Chris, the word love is not there.
Well, you know what?
You just added a word.
You know what?
Just read what they wrote.
You're going to get butchered so much during the news next week.
No, I'm not. I read what's there.
I'm going to remember.
I don't make words up.
Okay, I'm going to remember this.
If the word
fake words.
If the word like was there, I might could see where you said
love. I will
love.
remember this.
Good. It's on audio for the world to hear forever.
Sean, by the way, you look like a big.
Do you really
calling a kettle
really?
black. That's
Sean,
what you do.
In fairness,
that's what
all
you
words are made up.
Yeah, that's true.
Sean,
but if that was the case during the podcast, we would love to hear you guys playing with your 6-shooter, spurs hitting together, and horses in the background. Not that was a joke due to people outside of Texas thinking that's still Texas for you.
Wait, it's not?
That being said, the family and I will be moving soon and expecting twins late July to East Texas, where some still think that way more or less pow pow. Okay.
Pow pow. Pew pew.
Anywho, my questions to you guys is, have you guys heard or played Zelda, the Ancient Stone Tablets? Are any of you guys going to play Resident Evil 2 remake? Oh, I'm sorry, remarked. Let me say exactly how.
Read it just like that, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Coming this week, have a good weekend game on.
Oh, it's already bought.
And then at the very bottom, he also said, I forgot one more thing. I asked my wife.
Your wife?
If the twins were 2 boys, if we can name them Sean and Sean. Spelled differently. Thought Sean might find that funny.
Hence the laughter. I did. I don't know about this tablet game.
I don't know what it is. John, you're the super fan.
Of what?
Zelda Ancient Stone tablet game. Did we just get trolled?
Yeah.
It'd be hilarious if he's laughing right now. Those guys thought a Stone tablet game was coming out. Pew pew.
That's funny.
But it's possible that Resident Evil 2 is going to be the game for next week. I think Ash.
Yeah, the week after will be it.
Yeah, coming up.
Yeah.
They're going to play some other hack game.
We've already played it.
Yeah.
Oh, I've already played
Yeah,
it.
just wait for that one, guys. It's going to be a doozy.
Thanks for your support. What'd you bring to the table?
That's part of the shtick, you sensitive Nelly. Calm down.
Sensitive Nelly.
But yeah, we are going to definitely cover it. I think, as you said, the week after, because it's coming out on Friday. So we just figured that kind of game, it would be better to.
Yeah, we started kind of adopting that to where if a game does come out like on a Friday, we very rarely want to turn around and only have a couple of days with it.
If it doesn't have a lot of story, or someone isn't willing to basically take 4 days of their life and dedicate solely to the game, it's just easier. And finally, in emails this week, Nico writes in and says, "Dear Chris, Sean, and John, congrats on the spelling there, Nico.
What's happening?
I mentioned some time ago that I was going to email in, and I finally got around to doing so. I found the podcast around August of 2018, and I was working on the platinum for Wolfenstein
9.
At the time,
that's a great game. That's a very good game.
Das ist gut, ja.
I love killing Nazis.
At the time, I was going through some things, and the podcast brought me a lot of enjoyment and escape.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, it also reignited my love for gaming, and I haven't missed an episode since. I'm sorry. I've got a couple of points to make and then a small request. First, I completely agree that the Diablo release was handled terribly.
Thank you.
Terribly.
Nothing's been released.
I understand both sides, but the communication should have been much more clear. I believe the important part is fans who spent money to be at the convention because Blizzard isn't struggling for money.
Preach.
Ooh, those people may have saved for years to come to that one BlizzCon and should not have even relatively been misled.
Well, they should have read the internets.
Ooh.
They should have done their homework, Per John.
As far as Game of the Year is concerned, I would agree that God of Boy was the standalone winner. But simply from a fun
God of Boy.
But simply from a fun aspect, removing all the technical parts of the award, Spider-Man wins the crown. Two last things. I'm actually going to law school in August, and I'm also in VA. So if the other official podcast lawyer falls through, I'll be looking for work.
It'll be old Nico funny. From Virginia.
Right. Finally, in this email, as I mentioned, this podcast inspired me to enjoy my gaming again. It also sparked my creativity. As such, I started a Twitch stream. I'm platinum everything.
Yes, you are, sir.
We see him all the time on our Twitter feed.
It's awesome.
On Twitch, and have amassed 33 followers in 2 weeks. Hey, that's like 32 more than we have.
Dude.
So,
yeah, go follow Platinum Everything on Twitch.
There you go. Do that. And he's on the Twitter, so follow him there, and you'll probably get the updates then to when you want to actually, see him stream. I'm only 17 away from making affiliate and would love any support from Weekly Games Chat family. You got it.
Yeah, dude, for sure. 17 from being an affiliate or being an affiliate on Twitch is a big thing. That's what they shoot for. So any love you could give to Platinum Everything, please go do that.
Indeed, do it.
Thanks for everything you guys do. Game on your mom's box, Nico.
Thank you for the email, Nico. It's finally good to hear from you in email form.
Do you have any Twitter updates for us? Weekly Games Chat.
My phone and I gotta go. I did want to bring up some baseball news. I think broke, and they announced the Hall of Fame numbers.
You're going to the Hall.
I only wanted. Why is my phone doing this?
Oh, there you go.
I only wanted to bring up
Mike Messina.
Ken Griffey Jr. is my favorite player of all time, and he was trending. He would think he was like number 4 or 5, and that's because he's already in.
Yeah.
In 2016, he got 99.3 of the votes to get put in. Right. Well, that's being brought up because apparently Mariano Rivera got 100%.
So he's the first person to ever do it.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the trueness or if the clarification needs to be done, but I can just say that because Ken Griffey Jr. is my favorite player. It's kind of cool to see that he held that record for a while.
There it is. Yep, 100%.
Why is my phone not turning, John? There it is.
Which is weird because a lot of times, for the longest time, everyone thought it was going to be Cal Ripken or Tony Gwynn who did it because they're so popular and beloved and all that. But, wow. Yeah, it's hard to argue against him. He's kind of the greatest closer ever. Good for you.
Yeah, I like Griffey. We once went to a baseball game, and one of my friends, our term for when someone hit a home run was a yeek. Yeek. So we went to the game where I think the Reds would have been playing them in the Atlanta game, and we had that sign held behind Ken Griffey Jr. He did not hit a yeek. Just saying. Scrolling through trying to see if there's anything that I need to. Where are we at on time right now, Chris?
Long.
Are we? Yeah.
Yeah, we just went over 2 hours.
Okay, so you guys got at least 2 hours. Good friend of the show at I'm Gone tweeted out video of these guys who brought a projector out of their apartment complex and were playing Smash from their balcony.
What?
It's pretty dope. What is that, Chris?
It was a direct message we got.
Yeah, I got it. But yeah. At vintage PSN vintage _1985 did not like the fact, or I guess maybe not did not like it, but said no honorable mention for Pokemon or Smash Brothers for our game of the year.
No.
I replied in that, and you guys can chime in. Basically, I said that I did not play either of those games really long enough. I did play Pokemon more than Smash thus far. I just didn't feel like it could be weighted in my my games of the year.
Smash is great, but it was a great year for video games, and Smash was just Smash to me.
Yeah, it was an exciting release, but anyone go see DC's Aquatic Man? Yes, and I loved it.
Aquatic Man.
That's funny.
First DC film to make $1 billion.
Let's see.
Meanwhile, Marvel's like, that's cute.
Yeah. At Tyrannotortoise said that he's torn. He has a pre-order for #Metro Exodus on the Xbox One, as he's played all the previous ones there. However, since then he got himself a PS4 Pro. So he wants to know, should he cancel it and get it on the Pro for the graphics?
No, definitely.
Or do I complete the series on Xbox?
Does
he have just an Xbox One, though? Not an Xbox One S or Pro?
Yeah, maybe he just has an S and not a Pro. Or a One X.
I think that matters. I believe Chris...
I mean, from my understanding, the game runs best on PC. If you've got the Pro, as long as you just
yeah, Chris
don't have like some sort of doubt that you could function with that game with a PS4 controller, I would say take advantage of your best technology.
Yeah, Chris, I believe, replied to you and said on the system with 90 bajillion teraflops. If that's the one you have, if you have just a basic one, then probably play it on, your Pro.
Yeah, word has it it's going to be suffering from the glitchies. So it might as well look as pretty as you can make it.
Is that
for sure?
Is that what you're going with, John?
Yeah,
just what they say.
The glitchies.
Let me make sure. Yeah, I don't have anything else, I think, other than this direct message. And this is from the Brown Bear, Chris. Yeah.
Yes.
So here we go. Direct message time from @BrownBear2423. Hey guys, I love your podcast. I feel like I'm listening to a group of my buddies talking a party. I just wanted to know if Bryant-Denny Stadium is as majestic in person as it looks on TV. LOL. It's on his sports bucket list of sports venues to visit.
It's pretty much to me like kind of like when the dad finally goes to the game at Notre Dame in Rudy, where he's all like, "These eyes have never seen a greater sight," or whatever it is he says. It's about that.
A breaking tweet that's literally happening as I read this out, which is rare. At Hydraberg tweeted at us and said Red Dead Redemption 2 tops U.S. game sales for 2018. Smash Bros. Wins December. I guess Chris won the bet. Now, this is a link he gave per IGN. So I don't know the logistics in the lunch bet, but this just broke and came in from Hydraberg, so that could have given us an answer. While Chris looks at that, I'm going to see if we have any new follows we need to follow back, and we do. At Daisy Renrojas, thank you so much for the following you back. And at Fantasy_Souls, thank you so much for the following you back. And I was sitting there reading your, your info about you, and you're a horror expert. That's pretty dope. We're supposed to tag you for a retweet. I think I'm
validated.
But whoa, we don't know if that's we gotta.
It's MPD.
It is.
Yeah, I told you it was coming. I just didn't know when.
Well, I said, you hear that giddiness in his voice right now?
Yes,
he is.
He makes me sick.
He is a sore winner. He's the worst.
That's not true because you've seen me on election night.
No, also, I didn't see you on election
exactly.
night.
I'm very. I don't try to put that down people's
GameSpot
throats.
just tweeted that Res 2 is getting a free DLC mode. I don't know if that's right away, but it is quickly getting the likes. As I tried to hit the button at 39 likes and it's already over 50, and it was just tweeted out 7 minutes ago. So that's pretty dope, pretty good.
Yeah,
I think that's it. We got the direct messages covered. We got the followers covered. We made sure I didn't miss anything in mentions or any cool things that were going on. Again, go follow Platinum Everything on Twitch. He's a supporter of the show. I mean, he just emailed in, and he's an advocate on our Twitter page. Not our Twitter page. Yeah, our Twitter page. Which where can you find us at Weekly Games Chat? And Chris is probably about to tell you other ways to find us and rate us and tell your friends about us and all that good stuff.
Hey, John, do you want me to forward this to you for the news next week?
Absolutely.
Okay, I'll do that.
You deserve the honor.
Thank you. Man.
You had more time.
No, I didn't. I had less time.
I just say things that are factual.
I don't actually research. I'm kind of like memes.
Red Dead 2's not art.
Anyways,
I'm kidding.
Anyways, so this has been episode 188 of Weekly Games Chat. If you like the show, subscribe to us on iTunes or wherever podcast service you use, and you will get a new episode just like this one every Wednesday. If you like the show, make sure you rate us or give us a review. Helps people find the show. And if you hate us, subtract 1, divide it in half, and then do what, Sean?
Double it.
See, I have to say it every other week. That's what I do now.
I know.
I don't say it all the time.
It keeps me in. I say double it like I'm supposed to.
You get pissed.
I'm all like, here we go again. Jesus.
Yeah.
No, what did I say? GFC?
Again, if you want to write your thoughts and opinions, you can do so by writing us at weeklygameschat@gmail.com. That's weeklygameschat@gmail.com. And as Sean already mentioned, you can find us on Twitter and Facebook, both at Weekly Games Chat. And as he also mentioned earlier in the episode, if you're at work and you're like, man, I forgot to download Weekly Games Chat to my phone before I left the house, but I just want to put it on while I'm working in the office here and kind of zone out and hear people talk about games. You can go to YouTube and just search Weekly Games Chat, and you will get a new episode. The only one that is not on there, to my knowledge, is the music one, and that's because of copyright issue, basically.
Copywritten, so don't copy me.
Yeah. As soon as that posted, I got like 3 emails from
Did you really?
Yeah, it said like, hey, you've been flagged. I was like, D'Angelo did not take long, did he? But anyways, until next time, I will simply say game on, Sean.
Game on, Chris.
Game on, John.
Game on, Chris and Sean.
Game on, Johnny Bear.
Your mom's box.
Peace out, everybody.
Thug life.
Yeah.